Hello and welcome. My name is Backflippius, and this is my guide on how to beat Dark Souls 1 without taking any hits using only sorcery. So we start off, and the two most important things here at the beginning are to pick Sorcerer as a class as your starting class, of course, and Master Key as the starting gift. That will give you some better options for pathing early game. And what's also important is to create a face which will strike terror into the hearts of your enemies. So we do that by choosing a Store Noble who defaults to the strongest features of any of the defaults. We turn similar face to different and button mash until we get something good. The Lucky Red Hair Bob has always brought us fortune, and so we run with that, and we are off to the races. There's not a lot to say right here in the beginning, so we'll speed through a little bit. A full description of the rules of this challenge run will be below, but basically we're not going to take any hits, any damage stagger, or status ailment from any enemies or player-triggered traps. Environmental damage such as falls and poison swamp are allowed. And so right here at this doorway, we are going to drop the straight sword hilt. That frees up our inventory and allows us to equip our first sorcery staff quicker, which will be important in a second. Go ahead and just run right through here. And we're going to pause a little bit right here to cause this archer to shoot 2 shots so that we can run past him so we don't have to like push past him when we get to this corner. And we'll run up here and we need to get the Estus flask and key to the upstairs from Oscar. But first we run up the stairs right to this area right there, run back, that baits the boulder down, smash the wall there. Button mash through Oscar's dialogue, and you want to wait either by Oscar or by this door, but not in the middle of the room because the archer can hit you there. And so right here, we run up the left side of the stairs. As soon as this guy makes an attack, we are going to cut right and around him. Right like that. And that gets us past him. And immediately run, and as I'm running up here, I'm listening to hear if he's coming after me. Sometimes he will. Quickly equip the Sorcerer's Catalyst. If the guy is chasing you, you need to run past him back into the hallway and fight them in there. But if not, you can just dodge his attack and shoot him. We lock on and then round the corner there and step back from the corner, because if you're right at the corner when you round it, he can leap and hit you before you kill him. Peek out and zap that guy, and we are on to our first boss, the Asylum Demon. We're going to step forward just a little bit, to point our camera all the way down to lock on. We have enough time to shoot 3 times until he jumps up here, and we jump on down. Make sure not to roll too close to him, because when he lands from that jump, he does do a little bit of a stagger hitbox. Whenever he flies up and booty drops, we just walk away and then do a free aim shot into him. And otherwise, we just stick right to that big, luscious booty. And just wait for him to swing, waggle our stick at his booty, wait for him to swing, waggle his stick at his booty, and right like that. Pretty easy boss. Probably the easiest first boss of any Soulsborne game. And that's 1 boss down and 13 more to go. Speed up a little bit. We will grab this 1 soul here. Souls are a little tight in the early game, so even that little 200 soul there is worth taking a little detour to grab. Okay, here in Firelink, we're going to grab the humanity that's there, and then head up this way to get some little bit of starting gear. You can grab the firebombs that are over there on the right in Firelink Shrine as well, if you want to use consumables, which are allowed in Sorcery only by Team Hitless rules, but we're doing this purist without any sort of attack consumable. We get the Homeward Bones and Lloyd's Talismans. Quickly put the Homeward Bones on our hotbar because we will need to use the first one right away. Check to make sure those skeletons didn't aggro to us. Usually they don't if you're quick about that there. Homeward Bones at the ready as we go to get this final item here, the binoculars, which we need for a couple of things. And immediately Homeward Bone out. As long as you're quick, that's perfectly safe. And now we're headed down to the Valley of the Drakes to get the Red Tearstone Ring, a very important item for this run. One of our biggest sources of damage. And as we head down, we pop the soul of a lost undead. We keep the large soul, the 400 soul, and that allows us to save a homeward bone here in a little bit. Grab that, that's an 800 soul. Then head up here. This is the door that we can unlock with the master key. Grab the 1000 soul there. And just dashing on through. And there are two ways we can go about getting the red tier stone ring. I'm going to demonstrate the safer way here. And the only thing we need to grab from the dragon is the large soul there. You can grab that without waking him up. Then we wake him up for good luck on our way through. And so right here, this Drake, if he does a straightforward lightning, you want to run around him to the right. But if he does this sweeping lightning you see here, you run around to the left side. And no roll necessary, you can always just run by as long as you run the right direction. And so the safer way is to just go straight up to this bonfire here. As we head up the elevator, we'll go ahead and pop those souls that we grabbed, everyone except for the 400 soul. I'm gonna save that. Sit at the bonfire and level intelligence to 23. And head back down for the red tier stone ring. And you can see we only have 22 souls here, so we're going to be able to dark sign without much cost once we grab the red tier stone ring, and that'll put us right back at that bonfire there. And so, we're gonna bait out an attack from him and run past him. You want to run up the right side of the bridge here. Run towards this. As soon as he shoots, we cut left. Stop sprinting as soon as you run past him to recover stamina. As soon as you reach this item, you start running forward. You want to be on the left side. The key here is to bait the three Drake's attacks away from this center line. You want these two to be shooting down this way and this one to be shooting down this way as much as possible. Bait them away from the center line and turn them away from this ladder so that they have a harder chance getting you as you're going up the ladder. So we're staying to the left here. We're going to, as soon as he starts breathing, we cut to the left. As soon as he starts breathing, we cut to the right. I'm sorry, we cut to the right, then cut to the left, and then as soon as he starts attacking, we make a straight line for the ladder underneath this Drake's wing right here. One more time. Recover stamina. Start sprinting. Cut right, cut left, cut right. Straight under his wing to the ladder. And if you run it that way, you will never get lightning hitting you as you're climbing the ladder. And here we are, the beautiful red tier stone ring. Gives you a huge boost of damage whenever your health is low. And since we only had 22 souls, we go ahead and dark sign. And right here at the bonfire. Now, if you want to see a slightly quicker way of doing that, we have another video to show you. Right here. So same as before, if the Drake does the straight lightning, you run around to the right, but that sweep lightning, we run to the left. And rather than going to get the bonfire right away, we're just going to go straight to the red tier stone ring. So same path as before, we run up this bridge to the right. As soon as this Drake breathes, we go to the left. Recover stamina, start sprinting again, then cut to the right, cut to the left, cut to the right, right under that Drake's wings, straight to the ladder. And as long as you run it like that, I've never been hit by lightning as I'm climbing the ladder, as long as I run that path like that. So we climb up here, we're gonna grab the red tier stone ring, and then immediately roll off parallel to this gate right here. And then as we're falling, we're going to press right on our D-pad to swap weapons. And then as we're land, we're going to mash the circle button. What this will do is instead of giving us a hard fall or a roll out of a hard fall, it will give us a weapon swap out of a hard fall, which is the most reliable and quickest way to get out of a hard fall and get moving, right like that. And then run immediately to the bridge. We got kind of pushed a little bit by the Drake wing, but you want to, don't try and run away from the Drakes at all, just make a beeline straight for the Drake bridge. So, show that one more time. We immediately get to the ladder, we climb straight up the ladder, grab the ring, and then immediately roll off. Do the swap, mash circle, and run. And don't hesitate at all. Don't watch for anything. The speed is your safety in that. The safest way to do that is to just go do it quick and smooth. And it's usually fine. It saves about a minute, but if you really want to go speedy and be a little more stylish, that is a quicker way of doing it. Alright. So there's a couple ways you can kill this Black Knight if you want, but the easiest way to get past him is just to bait out an attack like that. Then he'll do this little backwalk and just run right past him. We don't really need the souls from him. We don't really need Grass Crest Shield, so I just prefer to run past him. But there's ways you can bare-fisted backstab him off that, or jump to the meme ledge and bait him into throwing himself off the cliff. Well, it's really just not necessary. So we're climbing up here. We're not headed to Parish. We're actually just headed up here to set up to get an RTSR set up for Taurus Demon. So we're gonna climb up here past these ferns to this little terrain feature right here, where you see this kind of sharp turn here and this little patch of light green moss. We're going to stand right here and slowly walk off the edge, drop, and then up here. You can see the Black Knight down there. Sometimes he will be up ahead and you have to run past him, but he's pretty easy to get past if you run past his shield side, and sometimes he'll be chasing you there. Now also, if you want to get Longbow, I don't use Longbow in this run, but by Team Hitless rules, you can use Longbow not to attack enemies, but to use as a distraction or as an aiming aid. But if you want to grab that and make a couple sections a little easier, like Anor Londo, you can grab that right over there and do those drops instead. But I do this little drop right here. And we are off. And there's a 1000 soul right here that we're going to grab. And then we head up to this tower to head to Taurus. Now, as soon as you open this door and head through, you want to immediately cut left up these stairs, because to the right of that door is Havel, and if you don't move quickly there, you will get flattened by him. So we want to keep running, because he will chase you all the way to this fog gate. Once we reach the fog gate, we will equip the red tearstone ring, and once we take a couple steps away, we are safe from Havel. We need to deal with these crossbow guys before we deal with the Taurus Demon. So you can wait up here for him to draw his sword, and then slide down and shoot him in the back. He does that right away. Sometimes it takes a while, but he will eventually do that. If you want, you can also climb up while they're both shooting, and then you can just strafe their shots and wait until they synchronize their shots and kill them up there. That's a little more difficult, but usually it's worth doing rather than waiting for him to slide down. But in that case, he just came immediately at me. Okay. So with them defeated, we are ready to take on the Taurus Demon. Very easy fight here, especially with red tearstone ring set up. Just sprint forward. As soon as he dives down, get a little closer, lock on, and 2 shots. And this attack he does right here, this leap, has a very long lingering hitbox, so you want to make sure you have a decent distance. You want to stay at about this range. Any farther away and he'll just chase you down. Any closer and he will... and you can get caught by some of those lingering hitboxes. It's 6 shots to stagger as long as you keep up your rate of attack, but don't rely on that stagger because it's very easy to lose the poise damage. But 7 shots will kill him. But it's just 2 shots and then dodge back is all that is. And so it's probably better to kill at least one of these 2 guys here, but I just run past them. I mean, you could do whatever. It doesn't matter too much. They're pretty passive usually unless you keep hanging out by them. Kick the ladder. Slide on down. We are not going to grab that bonfire because we want to keep our red tearstone set up. Okay, now a very important note for sorcery runs in general when you are attacking groups from behind. Always shoot the one who's in front of the group, the one that's farthest away from you first. If we were to shoot this hollow here, then this crossbow guy would hear that, turn towards him, and then see us and immediately start shooting at us. But since we shoot the one that's farther away, this melee hollow turns away from us, and we get to shoot him in the back as well. So that's a general tip for any sorcery runs in any of these games. Once again, we shoot the one that's farther away, the other one turns away from us. And these guys, as long as you don't get too close, they will not raise their shields, and that makes them a one-shot. Now we're headed down here to the merchant. Now you can buy by team hitless rules, sorcery only runs are allowed to use consumables like firebombs and throwing knives. And if you're allowing that in your run, it is worth buying at least a few firebombs and maybe some throwing knives too from this guy. They're super cheap. You've got some souls to spare. Don't go nuts and buy like full stacks, but a few can be nice. But we're being purists here and we're not using any of that. So we're just going to get the residence key. Now you could buy it from him. But if you want to save yourself 1,000 souls, which I did tell you souls are important early game, yeah, you can just kill him. So the way manual aiming in Dark Souls works with sorceries is your feet position, the way you position yourself with the left stick is what determines your horizontal aim. And then your vertical aim is determined by how you position your camera, how you position the right analog stick. So we line up our feet with him. And the general way I aim sorceries is I look at the character's head. You want a straight line from your head to your target, right like this. So this should hit him right in the center chest. A little bit in the arm. So one shot stands him up, and then we can lock on, get that second shot. And we get 2 useful items. The humanity will be somewhat useful later. Dried finger and orange soapstone don't matter, and the resonance key is the main thing we were after there. That will allow us to rescue Griggs. The master key does not work for the door that he is locked behind. You need to get the residence key for that. And so with them taken care of, we will climb back up this ladder and head to the sunlight altar, because the second key we need to rescue Griggs is the basement key, and that is over here in Parish. We need to go grab that first. And so this guy is still turned around walking away, so we will just zap him in the back as we strafe crossbow bolts. And strafe the volley. This guy does the slick little maneuver where he stands up in order to bait the soul arrow to go high, and then ducks under it. This guy ducks under as well. These guys are pro gamers. And we end up killing these guys anyways, so we may as well have done that early. But grab this. This is an 800 soul. The other item there is Claymore, which has no real purpose or use for us. And go ahead and open this gate and sit at this bonfire. We need to warp to this bonfire a couple times. And we also need to get our spells back. You can level a couple points of intelligence there, but I don't really need to. I should shoot this guy first, the sword and shield guy. You can kill these guys to get like a few extra souls, but it's really not necessary if you kill the merchant in order to get residence key. So zap him. And then right here, this section, stamina management is very important. We're going to sprint to these stairs. We're going to recover stamina. And we are trying to time this so that this crossbow guy is still firing his crossbow as we run past him. That's the safest way to do that, but I kind of manage my stamina wrong. I don't get the proper timing, and so he is going to draw a blade. These alluring skulls, don't pick them up. You want to be like against this wall when you pick them up. If you're more back here, he can immediately swing as he turns around and hit you. As long as you go back to here, he has to like fully turn around and then run up to you and then start his swings. So you want to get like right up against this wall and then pick these up. And then I'm going to turn my camera like this so that I can see him and I can see where I'm going to. And I don't roll immediately after recovering from the pickup animation. Instead, I'm going to wait and time my roll to dodge his attack. If I rolled right here, I would get roll caught right before I fell down to this lower level. So I'm waiting and then swing in time with his swing. One roll to the right and then one roll forward gets me through the gate. Run up here. You want to run up this side of the stairs. If you run up the center, you risk aggroing one of the Balder Knights in the parish. And if you aggro him, you're going to have a bad time. Up around here, he's running up at us, but I'm going to bait an attack from him. Step back because he can hit you from down there. And then once you do that, he kind of just does this little slow walk thing. Blast him in the back. Go ahead and grab the second key we need, the basement key. And we need to come back through here again, so we're going to open this gate, and then before this horde can get us, we're going to homeward bone back to the Sunlight Altar. So now we have both keys that we need to rescue Griggs. And this time, yep, we do it right. We shoot the farthest guy away from us in the back first, then him, strafe a bolt, and shoot him. Getting Griggs is a little risky and it takes a little bit of time, but it gives us a lot of power in early game. And so now we are headed down to Lowerburg, and all we have to deal with in Lowerburg, we don't have to deal with any of the thieves right now, just 3 dogs is all we need to deal with. So slide down this ladder, and as I slide down this ladder, I like to equip the Alluring Skulls and the binoculars to my hotbar. And so we're going to run right into this corner here. And you can barely see this dog. This dog patrols up and down this street here. He'll always start off patrolling this way towards the Capra Demon. So we're just going to wait here and watch. As soon as the dog patrols back and goes behind the wall that's over here, that's when it's safe for us to go. You can see the dog coming back here, and then as soon as he's behind that wall, we are going to run. And this dog comes out at us as soon as he gets close enough to attack. I'm not really watching and trying to read what this dog is what sort of attack this dog is doing. I'm gonna just, as soon as I reach about here, stop sprinting, and then as soon as the dog is within range to attack me, I'm going to roll once past him and then roll twice to get into this corner here. Roll, roll. I'll show that again. As soon as the dog patrols back behind this wall, we run. We run, we stop running, roll, roll as soon as that dog gets in range. That dog is very reliably aggressive, so you just need to get past him and into this corner. You're safe as long as you're in this corner. As long as you're not like over here, like some dogs, if they're over here, can hit you, and as long as you're back against this corner, you're safe. Now, casting Soul Arrow will move your hitbox slightly forward, and they do have a chance to hit you if you do that, so I'm not going to shoot at any old time. I'm going to wait until this dog does, like, the double jump attack at me. So 1, and then 2, and then right here at the height of his jump, at the height of his second jump, that's when I press the attack button, that's when I cast. And if you time it like that, you will always hit him, and you will never get hit by him. So right here, sometimes this dog that patrols back here, he won't even spot you at all. And so you either need to kind of try and free aim shoot him, lock on and shoot him, or aggro him and get him over here. But, yeah, just kind of messing around here. My shots distracted him, but he was in an area I couldn't really hit him because of the hitboxes, so just have to wait till he patrols again. And right here, we are able to get a lock on and shoot him. And button mash past Griggs' dialogue, open his door. We don't need to talk to him. We just homeward bone out of there, and we will meet up with him at Firelink. So here we are back at the Sunlight Altar. You could kill those guys one more time for a few extra souls, but we don't really need to. Shoot him. And we're going to run through here the same way as before, but this time we don't need to grab the Alluring Skulls, but also that hollow soldier that closes the gate isn't here anymore. He doesn't respawn, so we need to close it ourselves. We drop from there 3 rolls to the switch, and then run up here. There's one guy made it through the gate. Sometimes a couple will, but pretty easy to deal with. And that's the attack right there that can hit you if you're standing too close to that ledge. But yeah, we just loop this guy around, kill him. And we're going to go ahead and leave that gate closed this time. Now we're going to run in front of the door, bait out the Balder Knight that we were worried about earlier, toss in the Alluring Skull at that pillar. That'll draw this guy out as well and distract both of them. So while they're distracted by the Alluring Skull, we can shoot them in the back. And now run up right into this doorway. Lock on and shoot. And shoot twice. The first shot will wound him and aggro him. And if he goes for the Estus drink, you just shoot him again and that kills him. And if he rushes towards you, you can shoot him again and the damage will, even with a block shot, will finish him off. So now we've activated the lift to the parish. go ahead and pop the souls that we picked up. And we'll make our preparations to go to Quelaag. And grab a couple extra souls here, do a little parkour around the ruins. And we go to Quelaag first because the gargoyles can be a little tricky on sorcery, and Quelaag and Ceaseless Discharge are fairly easy and worth a lot of souls, so it's more worth our while to go for them. Make sure to say yes. And right now we are going to purchase one spell from him, Great Soul Arrow. This dark blue spell right here for 6,000 souls. That is the spell we want. We're going to go ahead and have a seat. And we're going to attune our new magic. Level up first. Go ahead and throw any souls you have into intelligence. Every little boost helps. And yep, make sure to attune Great Soul Arrow. And now we are headed down to Quelaag. And we run off and drop to the left there so that we don't take any fall damage, because I want to be at full health for the following drops. Okay, so we got a few of these big infested barbarians to run past. Most of their attacks you don't even need to worry about, you can just keep running. The only thing you need to watch out for is the one-handed quick swipe. Yeah, none of those will hit you, but this attack right here, this one-handed attack where he just swipes, you do need to roll that. The range and size of this hitbox is much bigger than it looks like, so whoop, roll right there. And so for the Blighttown drop, the quickest, easiest, and safest way to get down Blighttown, we're going to run on this beam right here. This beam right up here, we're going to run off. We're going to run at an angle parallel to the platform here. So right like this, right off of this beam here. And you want to jog off. You don't want to be sprinting. You don't want to be walking. You want to jog off. Just tilt forward on the stick, but not holding the sprint button. And so right like this. And there's actually a lot of leeway with that. That looks precise, but there's a ton of leeway. You spend 5 minutes practicing it. It's easy. And you can just drop down here, and we're going to wait right here until we have a good rotation of the water wheel. And then drop onto the water wheel. It's safe and easy. Safe, quick, and easy. Best way down to get to Blighttown. And now we're going to drop down here, and we want to get poisoned immediately, because we're going to use poison to set up Red Tearstone Ring. And so we're going to set it so that the poison will wear off right when we're in Red Tearstone range. And so we want to get poisoned as early as possible to get that set up as soon as possible. But there's a few large souls down here that we want to grab. 3 rolls, you want to be against this wall when you grab that so that none of the crag spiders drop on your head. Roll on out, that's the second. Each one of these souls is worth 3,000, and there's 3 of them, so that's 9,000 in total. Nice handy pool of souls. And so we're going to roll on through, and we're going to top off our health in a minute. That's actually a little early. You want to be like more up here. Where the poison meter is, I usually gauge it by the poison meter, but this time I'm wearing clothing for some reason, so I don't have a perfect gauge of it, but this should be good enough. 1 soul arrow and 1 great soul arrow kills him. But the idea is to top yourself up to full health at a specific time, so that when this poison meter runs out, we will be in Red Tearstone range. But from here, it's just rolling through the swamp and waiting for the Red Tearstone to activate. And that guy, you just want to make sure you have a little bit of extra stamina so you can roll past him quickly. You want to stay off to the right this whole time to avoid the boulder throwing infested barbarians that are there. But we're in here. We're going to pop those souls we gathered in Blighttown Swamp. Extra 9k souls. And now we are just waiting for our health to get down to 106 or less. 106 is the breakpoint for the Sorcerer starting class for Red Tearstone setup. As soon as we get down to 106, And you can see we're still poisoned, but our poison meter is pretty low, so it'll wear off before it kills us, but I could have healed a little later, and that would have been a little bit of a more precise, better setup. Okay, so there's two ways to kill Quelaag. I'm going to show you the quicker and flashier way first, but this is the more difficult way too. So I could go for the shots right away, but I choose not to. We're just going to do the long spew. We'll take a couple shots here. And then we want to free aim into her upper half, her lady portion here. Shot goes wide, but that's fine. We just dodge away. Gonna bait out a sword swing, space it, and then line it up. And you notice with this, I am always shooting. I'm always waiting until I confirm my previous shot hits before I shoot another. If you just start mashing R1 and one shot misses, then you're going... If one shot misses, you can react and dodge before she hits you. But if you button mash and one shot misses and you go into another cast, she will swipe you while you're doing that cast. But as long as you kind of maintain your aim well and just are even with your casting, it's an easy kill. And we do increased damage, and every shot, any damage to her, like, upper half here staggers her. So this is a very quick and very stylish way of killing her, but it does take some precision with the free aim. So, if you're looking for an easier way of doing this, dial something up for you here. Instead of doing all that nonsense, just kind of run past her. Whenever she does any sort of lava breath, you just want to run past her to one side and get... With the long speed, you can get 3 or even 4 shots sometimes. And then we're going to bait out an attack. It's another lava spew, so we run to the side, do 1. Another lava spew, run to her side, shoot once. And that side hop there, that's why you want to stay in front of her and not to her sides. And you want to stay close enough to where she's not going to do the leap forward. And you want to make sure you don't get trapped by lava, but otherwise it's a very simple matter of baiting out an attack from her. You don't even have to roll. No roll Quelaag with sorcery especially is easy. Just run to the side when she's doing the fire there. This is another big punish window, and we should be able to finish her off here. And you can see how easy that is. That's way easier than the stun lock method, but takes a little longer and isn't nearly as stylish. It's up to you how you want to do this. And one final thing I want to show off, and I don't think I get it here, is when she opens with the leap. A lot of people have problems with that leap. A lot of people just run away from it, but you can, when she opens with it in this fight, actually run in past her, and it's very easy, but I see people doing it wrong. They try and go directly under her, and that's not what you want to do. What you want to do, so right here, I think, yep, when she tenses up like this, she's going to do the leap forward. You don't want to try and run directly at her and roll under her. What you want to do is angle your run. I think you can do it either way, but I always go to the left here. You want to angle your run just a bit to the left, and you don't even need to roll. Like, just angle my run a little to the left, and right there, right past her. You could roll if you wanted to, but you don't really need to. But yeah, just run to the left. Like, you could roll right there, but it's unnecessary. But you just angle your run like that, and it's fine. And that's about all I have to show on Quelaag. Pretty simple boss for sorcery runs. So onwards we go. And as soon after you kill Quelaag, you do want to heal up to full, because we'll be taking some drops here in a second. Don't forget to do that. But we'll be ringing the Bell of Awakening and then killing Ceaseless Discharge, since that's a very easy kill that nets us an extra 20,000. We're going to go ahead and talk to Angie and say yes to him, just to get him crawling out of my way, so that by the time we come down here later, that he's not in the way and we don't have to wait for him. We're headed to Ceaseless Discharge now. This is just kind of running down here. This is a very easy 20k. right here. And we have to kill him eventually, so why not now? And you notice I'm not sitting at any bonfires right now. That's because I don't want to have to climb out of Blighttown. Dropping down twice is easier than having to climb out once. So we're going to grab the gold hem set. As soon as we do that, this is what angers him. Run up to this area here. I drink Estus there, not as not because I need to heal, but as a timing mechanism. Because if you start going early, this little like flipper thing he does will actually kill you. That will hit you, that will kill you. So, but you don't want to delay too long because you want to get to the fog wall as soon as possible. So I drink Estus there just as a timing mechanism. It's the time it takes to drink one Estus flask is the perfect amount of delay there. But you need to grab the gold hem set in order to aggravate him enough to actually do this kill. If you don't get him to release that little flipper, if you don't anger him enough, he'll just shoot at you while you're at this fog gate instead of doing the leap that he does. But anyways, we're going to run right to the fog gate. We want to be right against the fog gate and right against the center, not towards the outside or the inside, but right in the center here. We're going to pop the soul of his sister right in front of him. And then we just a few hits on the hand. I think it's 5 once he turns his head. We'll we'll make him loosen his grip and send him plummeting into the chasm down below. And so that's a very easy 57,000 souls we got just for our short trip down here to Blighttown. And Homeward Bone will send us right back up to Firelink Shrine. Now, we have a couple things we need to buy from Griggs. We will be buying Heavy Soul Arrow and the Bellowing Dragon Crest Ring. Bellowing Dragon Crest Ring gives us a huge boost to our sorcery damage. And Heavy Soul Arrow is a nice spell for a while. So Heavy Soul Arrow, Great Soul Arrow, and Soul Arrow are the spells we have attuned. Throw the rest of our souls into Intelligence, get ourselves up to 38. And we have some extra souls here. We're going to buy Arl Decoy. Now, if you're using a bow as like a distraction tool, you don't need to buy Arl Decoy. And if you don't have the souls for it now, you can buy Arl Decoy later, but we got the souls now, so we buy it now. But that's just a little handy for 1 or 2 spots. Equip the Bellowing Dragon Crest Ring, and we are on our way up to Gargoyles. But first, we want to set up Red Tearstone Ring. So wait till the elevator is near the top. Run off and drop here. Roll, drop. Up these stairs, up around this area here. And we're going to jump right off here. And that will give us our Red Tearstone setup. Perfect. And now we head up to the Parish and Gargoyles. And so we want to be back up against this wall so we don't aggro this Baldur Knight right away. 1 Heavy Soul Arrow will kill him. And then over here, we're going to look through this window at this channeler. We don't want to go too much farther forward because then we'll start aggroing the hollows that are in there. And we're going to lock on and wait for him to dance. If he doesn't dance right away, just kind of move back out of the way and wait until he does start dancing. And as soon as he starts dancing, we want to position ourselves kind of right here, right next to this pillar. And 1 Great Soul Arrow with Red Tearstone Ring will kill him. Lock onto that hollow, shoot a Soul Arrow to kill him. Now we're going to use skulls. We want to throw them against this archway right here, against the wall there. Kind of miss, kind of throw too far forward, but that's fine. And we want to kind of create a traffic jam right in this doorway. We do that by always shooting the hollow that's in front, which is a little easier said than done. And right there, one of them gets through. But if that happens, you just want to back up to the next corner. These guys don't turn corners so well, so if you just back up around to the next corner, you can kind of hold them off there. Or if you have to, even just go down the lift and then wait for them to de-aggro and then come back up. But if you want to use firebombs here, we're not using firebombs because we're being a purist, but if you do want to use firebombs here, there is a little bit of an easier strategy for you. Let me see if I can find it. Here we go. So same as before, we shoot these guys. Gonna throw the skulls. Aim's a little better here. Bring them in. And then kind of should probably step back a little more, but you chuck firebombs. And because of the area of effect, these are very effective when you got them clustered up like this. And you can get 6 firebombs right at the beginning of Firelink Shrine, and you can buy a few extras from the Undead Merchant as well. But that's a very easy way of dealing with them if you are allowing yourself to use consumables in this run. So, now we are headed up to Gargoyles. And like I said, the Gargoyles can be a little bit of a tricky fight with Sorcery, but with how high power we are now that we killed Ceaseless and Quelaag, they're not too much of an issue. So we're going to start off with Soul Arrow, our weakest spell, because the second Gargoyle is triggered into the fight based on the damage the first one takes. Soul Arrow, as long as you don't get a counter hit, Soul Arrow does just enough damage to where it won't trigger the second Gargoyle to come up. And right there, I want to point out something. If you lock onto these guys as they're coming down and you shoot, your shot will often go over them. So if you're shooting at them as they're coming down, the best thing to do is free aim, and you'll see examples of that later. But I want to bait an attack and then kind of just outspace it and shoot. Same thing with the heavy soul arrow. So 1 soul arrow and then 1 heavy soul arrow kills him. Get our great soul arrow. And 1 great soul arrow kills this guy. Easy peasy. But I feel like I would be remiss if I didn't provide some more examples, because like that was a pretty quick fight there, but there's a lot of things that can happen in this gargoyle fight. It is one of the trickier things for Sorcery. We don't get to stagger lock them like the melee boys, so one moment, let me sort out. Alright, so we're gonna head in here. And always run past and dodge past him. Bait out a swing. And then I'm going to show you guys a different strategy here. This is if you're not comfortable with the slow cast speed of heavy soul arrow, 2 great soul arrows will also get the job done. And you notice I kind of run way and space that so that they're both together so I don't get pincered. And then 1 heavy soul arrow on him. Not heavy, great soul arrow. And we'll do a few more run-throughs. I'll show you various things that can happen, but do a couple more run-throughs of the Soul Arrow, Great Soul Arrow kill. But you always want to leave it off with the Soul Arrow because it's decent damage that doesn't trigger the second Gargoyle in the fight. Dodge right past him there. Bait out a swing. And shoot. And the big thing is you don't want to get counter damage with the Soul Arrow. And I want to get kind of over here so that the 2 are grouped up before I do the shot that's going to trigger the second Gargoyle to enter the fight. And right now, like, shooting either one of them with Great Soul Arrow would kill either one of them, so I'm just looking for a shot on one of them before the fight gets out of hand. I think we do one more time here with the Great Soul Arrow combo. Dodge past him. And does this little flying thing. Probably didn't need to get that close, but we know how to dodge. But yeah, I kind of want to get over this way so that I'm not surrounded by them, but right out here. Fade out an attack from him. And we actually get the tail cut there. And they're hard-coded to always turn around behind them if they get their tail cut, even if you're standing in front of them when you do that. And so I'll show a few more examples of getting openings and getting hits with Heavy Soul Arrow, because the Heavy Soul Arrow cast time is twice that of the Standard or Great Soul Arrow. So that makes it a little bit trickier. You have to be a little more choosy with your openings, but with a little bit of practice, it's easy to learn what's safe with that. And I'll give you a bit more demonstration here. So, dodge past. Create an opening. Should have started shooting that a little sooner. We got him there. And need to bait out an attack. Run dodge past him there. I might have been able to strafe that, but I'm not always confident with the tracking on that. And that was cutting it a little close. So was that, but get away with those things. Their attack speed isn't instant. If I had been a little bit closer to him, that probably would have been a problem, because if I was a little closer, he could have punched, which is a quicker attack, which might have caught me. But probably should have been a little farther back, though. But it worked out just fine for me anyways. And as always, just dodge past him. Get some distance, shoot. And we aim to where he is going to be instead of where he is. As long as you got that free aim down, that's easy. And right here, notice how that didn't kill him, that didn't do any damage. You need to wait for him to be spawned in a bit before you can hit him. And that's why I always more kind of run back and let him come to me a little bit instead of immediately trying to kill him as soon as he drops in. But we'll do a couple more fights here. There's a couple more attacks I want to show you guys before we move on. Dodge past him here. Space that attack and shoot. That was we could have spaced that probably, but that was a little close, so better safe than sorry. Watch for a Heavy Soul Arrow, space that, and that's perfect. We can even lock on. And just wait a little bit and start shooting there. Easy peasy, and one more fight. I think this is the one where we display the attack that gets a lot of people with gargoyles. One attack I want to show you guys how to dodge. As always, we just dodge right past him here, get a little bit of space. And this is it right here, when he jumps over you and swings immediately behind you. So, one of the best ways you can dodge it is if you're running away from him. Like, as soon as I see this, I should have run straight away from him. I angle off to the side for some reason. I'm not entirely sure why. But you want to kind of sprint away from him and then roll right with that timing there. And the timing window for that dodge is very generous if you're already running away from him. You can see we can almost strafe this. We're barely in that hitbox, but that attack gives people a lot of trouble. The best thing to do is to kind of, as soon as you see it coming, either run away or if you're super close, maybe run in towards him. But yeah, right like that. Yeah, you kind of delay for a second and then dodge. And one more time, because this attack does give a lot of people trouble. It is probably the trickiest attack he has. Whoop! Dodge right like that. And that's just something you need to practice, but you can watch the timing and how I move there. It's a pretty good guide on how to dodge that. And yeah, sometimes you can have the perfect lineup, but you'll still miss those shots, but just a little bit of patience. Just don't take too much of risks. A missed shot is fine, but putting yourself in a dangerous position can end a run right there. And that will be it for gargoyles. So we move on with our run here. And climb up this ladder. We're going to ring the second bell of awakening, opening our way to Sen's Fortress, but we are not going to warp back out. Instead, we're going to carry this red tearstone setting all the way straight to Sen's Fortress and Iron Golem. Slide down here, and we have Oswald the partner. We're going to get the best gesture of the game. Well, what is it? And this is our one opportunity to buy Homeward Bones, so we're going to buy like 5 or 6. You don't need a ton, but having a few extra is nice for this run. Especially if you end up in some emergency situations and need to use a couple unexpectedly. So now that we got that done, we are going to make our way over to Sen's Fortress. But we have one little errand first. Right here, we want to get this Firekeeper soul. So lock out of this guy, bait and out attack. Didn't really need to dodge back, but why not? And as soon as he's recovering from his swing, you can just shoot him, easy peasy. Now, we want to get that Firekeeper soul because we want to unlock the Daughter of Chaos shortcut. Okay, that crossbow guy. We're gonna listen. And you hear that shot there, that means we're safe. If you don't hear that second shot, that means he's moved into position to shoot you in the back right here, and you need to watch out for him. His shot will usually fall short as long as you run that line well and manage your stamina well, but that is always a concern. Skip that bonfire entirely because we want to warp back to Firelink after we're done here, and we want to maintain this red tearstone setup. And so we're gonna run straight up to this guy, stop and shoot him right about here. He will always do that little hiss first. We're gonna wait for these guys to come close to us. As soon as they get a little too close for comfort, we're gonna trigger that arrow trap, kill. We finish off the one. And bait out an attack. Space it. One great soul arrow and then one soul arrow to the shield. If you aren't comfortable fighting these guys, you can also just move back towards the parish until they de-aggro and they'll start slowly walking backwards and not have their shields up. And that's an easier way to kill them, but if you want to be a little faster, that's a good way too. Gonna roll in here, grab a 5k soul. And we're clearing out enemies primarily because we need to come back through here to get Logan, and doing that will be a lot easier if we clear all the enemies now. So we'll move through here, we're going to jog forward to strafe that guy's lightning, and then it's just a slow and smooth movement to strafe his lightning without going too far forward, move the camera, and start casting, lock on, dead. And killing that snake caster allows us to stand right here, and one-shot this snake guy, and move on through. And so yeah, we want to clear this because we have to come through again to get Logan, and trying to come through here a second time after the snakes have been aggroed and moved out of position can always be a little risky. So, this guy we can just one-shot right here with Heavy Soul Arrow. Heavy Soul Arrows for the Sword and Shield snake people. Great Soul Arrow for the Serpent casters. On that Serpent caster at the top of the stairs, you want to watch. If she chases you down here, you want to roll as soon as you get out of that fog wall, because she can hit you in the back. Roll straight through that table, and we head straight down the stairs. You want to run all this fairly quickly so that you make the boulder cycle. But around the corner here, we're going to stand right here, and we're going to position our camera so that we can see the elevator here, and see when that comes down, but also see this doorway. If a snake starts coming through this doorway, we need to not just wait back here, but actually go forward and bait out an attack and then run for the elevator, because you don't want to get cornered in the back corner of that room. But we got the elevator with no snake chasing us, and we're going to head up here to the boulder. We're going to rotate the boulder 90 degrees counterclockwise to break down this wall, because we are going to go get Logan later. And once we've sent one boulder down that way, we're going to turn it to twice more so that the boulders don't keep rolling down there. And now we're going to sprint through here. As long as you sprint this whole area, it's perfectly safe. Those arrows won't hit you. And then we're going to head through here. Run. You can just kind of barehanded backhand that snake out of the way, but I prefer to kill her. As soon as you cast, you do want to roll forward so you don't get sliced in the back by the snake boy, though. You can stop there for a little bit, but you don't want to be waiting there too long. Head through the fog wall. And we hear the pitter-patter of snaky feet behind us. That means we have one person chasing us. And so we need to deal with him because we're coming back through this area, and if you leave him alive, he can end up in some surprising places. So we're just gonna come right here to where we are safe from the crossbowman's shots. Bait out an attack. Shoot. Soul arrow to finish. Even if he blocks it, it's still enough damage to finish him off. And then up and around this way. I'm going to... You can just backhand this guy too, but instead we just stand right there. Wait. Instead, we just stand... right here. Wait for a shot. And then strafe that and immediately go in for the kill. Alright, Iron Golem. Iron Golem is pretty simple for us. We're gonna head into the fight. Some people like to use the rubble to block, but I prefer strafing this shot. He will always open with that attack. We're gonna run this line right between the legs. We're gonna stand right here. And then as soon as the swing is done, we cast. And move to that position. That turns him just enough. So second cast. Glitches him into the air and sends him tumbling off the edge. So let's see that again. Run past. Kind of position yourself right past his feet there. As soon as he finishes the swing, we start casting as we turn around and move into position. And that's the perfect positioning. One more time. Strafe the shot. Run into here. Stop sprinting as soon as we get past him. I'll stand about there. Right as soon as he kind of finishes his swing and starts recovery is when we start casting. And if you're not comfortable with the heavy soul arrow, 2 great soul arrows will also stagger him. And I think it's a 3rd or maybe a 4th to knock him down. We pop some souls while we wait for the fire to subside. We want to drink to get full health because we will be taking some drops here. Staring at him while you're up here will prevent him from throwing firebombs. And so right now we want to do 2 things. We want to unlock the shortcut from the bottom to top of Sens. And we want to get Logan. Now, freeing Logan we could do with just the Master Key, but in order to unlock the shortcut so that we don't have to run through Sens again, we need to get the Cage Key, which is over here. Go ahead and buy a few things from him. You can buy some black firebombs if you want. I just buy 1 green blossom. But we're going to head down here. And there's going to be 1 more snake caster in our way. And then that's pretty much it for enemies. Run in here. She's going to cast, so we just roll right through it. And 2 soul arrows kills. If she sprints straight at you instead of doing the cast, you can just start firing soul arrows right away and kill her. But we've got the Cage Key. And now we are going to go back to where the cage shortcut is. Oh! One thing I gotta show you guys is Schrodinger's giant. So this giant right here, he does not exist. He does not exist right now. But as soon as we leave the tower, he pops into existence again. He exists in a quantum state. And if you missed that jump there I just did, you can always run back up and around. It's not a big deal if you do. As long as you got full health. Which is why we healed after killing the golem. So we open this cage and head on down. Go ahead and pop some souls while you're in this cage as well. And then that shortcut is set up for us so that when we come back here later, we can just go right into that cage and right up to the top of Sens instead of having to run through everything again. But yeah, just be careful of the pendulum blades here. And right over here is where we have Logan. Make sure to talk to him after opening his cage, because unlike Griggs, he will not go back to Firelink unless you talk to him after freeing him. That's a 10k soul right there, and now we are going to Homeward Bone, back to Firelink Shrine. And so we have 2 very expensive spells to buy, but fortunately we have a lot of souls from our adventures in Sen's Fortress. We want to buy Soul Spear and Homing Soul Mass. Those are the 2 spells we're buying. And now we're going to head right back to the Undead Parish bonfire. And as you're heading up this elevator, you can pop that 10k soul. Anything else you've got. Once again, we listen for that second crossbow shot. If we don't hear it, we need to be careful about getting a crossbow bolt to the back there. Alright, have a seat. And we're going to attune Homing Soul Mass, Soul Spear, and Great Soul Arrow. And then pump all the rest of our souls into Intelligence. So we're going to head down here. Stay up against this back wall. Cast Homing Soul Mass. Free aim a Great Soul Arrow into Andre. Soul Masses will deploy and kill him. If the Soul Masses don't launch right away, be ready to dodge a drop kick from Andre. And this guy, as long people are scared of him, but as long as you stick along this wall and just run and manage your stamina well, he is no danger at all. Just run past him all day. And so now we are on our way to kill Sif. Tree Boy in the distance, we're gonna pew pew him. And you want to get this second Tree Boy too before you head to get your Red Tearstone set up, because he can chase you down this way, and if he does, he can end up in some awkward positions. So we're coming down here just to do a Red Tearstone setup for Sif. We're going to go right to this cliff here, right back to that same spot where this little like feature juts out, and right in the same exact spot, we're going to walk slowly and carefully, drop here. And we need to take just a little more damage. There's Longbow again, if you want to grab that. We don't really need it. It's helpful for a couple situations, but not really needed in this run. And now we are headed straight for Sif. And we still don't have Red Tearstone, but we'll get the rest of the damage along the way. There's a couple little drops that we can take. So right here, you want to wait for this guy to come forward. You don't want to move too far forward because you'll aggro this guy. Drop him and then aggro him. And you can do what I did here and kind of run behind him and then shoot him. Or you can run straight forward and then get some distance that way and shoot him. But you want to be careful of these little tree boys because they do have extendo arms that can be dangerous. But yeah, the crest we got for killing Andre will open this door. And for this, you just want to stay, you want to manage your stamina well and just stay off to the left. And you can run through here, none of those guys will give you problems. And this guy, if you run straight at him, this little rise will confuse him and he'll end up running off to the side there. And you want to talk to Elvina here. Talking to Elvina, just initiating her dialogue, will de-aggro the forest hunters. And get them off your back. So we take the little extra jump there, that sets up Red Tearstone. And if we still didn't have Red Tearstone, there's one more drop right here on the way to Sif we could take over there if we needed a little bit more damage. So for Sorcery, Sif is a very RNG dependent fight. This fight can be very quick and easy or very nerve-wracking and dangerous, depending entirely on your luck. I think here we're going to see some pretty good luck if I remember correctly, but that doesn't always manage to be the case. We're going to initiate, so we're going to cast Homing Soul Mass before we initiate the fight, so that we have it ready during the fight. Swap, get Soul Spear ready. As soon as he charges in, dodge back, move forward. We didn't manage to bait out the slam, but we still got a lot of damage on him. Dodge backwards, shoot. And that's Sif. That is very good RNG on Sif. But let's show a few more examples of that fight. Because, like I said before, things can go a little bit sideways there. So, as before, we are going to... oh no, I don't ready Soul Mass here. You want to ready Soul Mass before you enter the fight, but... and this fight is from a save file, so things are a little scuffed as far as Sif's starting AI. But, yep, that's the backflip swing. That's a little quicker. You want to be ready for that. But you can see we're kind of just baiting out sword swings, dodging backwards from them. That's the baiting out of the slam that you want. Right there. If Sif does the charging swing and you dodge back but then move a bit forward, you can often bait out that slam attack, which will give you another punish window. So we're going to show a few iterations of this fight. But yeah, because this save file starts right in front of the door, the opening AI of Sif is a little weird. But for demonstration purposes, this still works just fine. Dodge backwards, move forwards, and that baits out the slam. And that's some good punish windows. And I would recommend in your own practice, if you kind of do some of this not casting, but just kind of moving around, learning to dodge Sif's attacks. Dodge back from that. We could have taken a cast there if we wanted. But yeah, it's just kind of baiting out sword swings. I try and maintain this sort of distance. You don't want to get super close because you risk doggy paws, but you want to stay close enough to where Sif is less likely to be hopping around. Although there's nothing you can do to entirely prevent the Sif hops, unfortunately. And so we'll show a couple more iterations of this battle. I remember I was trying to get some Sif hops to show you guys dodging that, but Sif was actually not... oh, there's some Sif hops there. A little bit off target. But yeah, moving kind of closer to bait out sword swings. There's the charge. And move forward to bait out the slam after the charge. Charge again. Can we bait out the slam again? No, we're kind of back against the wall, so we need to move more to the side. But yep, if you get close enough right after the charge, you can usually bait out the slam there. And you can see, if you maintain this sort of space, it's pretty easy to dodge back and dodge the Sif hops. If you're closer in with Sif, you want to dodge forward, but at this range with how we're fighting him, it's easy enough to just dodge back from them. The big thing you don't want to do is dodge to the side on Sif hops. Because for one, if you notice, Sif isn't always 100% on target with those, and you might end up just dodging into Sif. And the second problem with dodging to the side is even if you do successfully dodge, Sif can then do a side hop and hit you that way. Because those paws have hit boxes every time it jumps. And the other thing I think throws people off with the Sif hops is the timing of the dodge. You don't want... if you dodge right away, if you roll right away when Sif hops, you will get roll caught. It's kind of a delayed dodge, and the timing can be a little tricky to learn. But yeah, Sif doesn't have an enormous moveset, so I would recommend just spending a little bit of time dodging attacks like this just to get a feel for the moveset and timing. And yeah, some things will just miss like that. And yep, right there, that is kind of the perfect example of a Sif hop dodge. You just want to wait, like, and then right before she lands, you want to dodge back. Dodge back, get close, and bait out the slam. And there we go. I forget, do I show one more Sif fight, or are we moving on from here? I think we move on from here. Oh, yeah. Okay. And so that will do us for Sif. So after Sif, wait for our rewards, and then we're going to go ahead and homeward bone out of here. And now we are headed to Anor Londo. Now we're going to get Soul Spear ready, and we can just run straight through here past these guys. And avoid that pressure trap plate this time. And as long as you just sprint through here, these guys are no danger. But we're going to run up here, past the pendulum blades. We're going to run up to about this point. As soon as we dodge that lightning, we shoot a Soul Spear at that snake boy, and straight into the cage. And as we're headed up the cage, we can pop the Soul of Sif. And up around here, dealing with the crossbow guy the exact same way as before. We want to just stop and wait right here. As soon as he fires, we strafe past his bolt, shoot him. And we are on our way to Anor Londo. Alright, so we're headed here. We can get a few extra souls just by shooting these guys. Just make sure to actually hit them and not hit their shields. And we need to grab this bonfire right here. This is an important hub for a few different areas. We're going to put 1 point into attunement and then everything else into intelligence. We should be able to hit about 4950. And then we're going to add Arl Decoy as into our 4th spell slot. And so we're going to set up RTSR right here. The way we do that is sending this elevator down and then counting out 2 seconds. Or I don't know why I stopped here. There we go. So we run forward and send that down and then count out 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. Run it. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, back step. And drop there. And then run off the side drop here. Check how much health we have. So at 150, I want to land on this railing, run about halfway up, and then drop. And yeah, basically you want to end up 105. That's pretty good setup. Around here, this railing. Yeah, you want to go around the railing that way to avoid that gargoyle. Run up this little archway and jump right to the balcony. As soon as we enter, we are going to turn up here, lock on, and shoot that guy. Put up a homing soul mass. And then run over here, and as soon as he starts to aggro, run back. If you run forward, he might just keep throwing knives, but we run forward here to kind of bait him more forward, and then run at him with the soul masses. And drop him like that. And so now we have plan B, which is the soul masses, but then plan A, which is Arl Decoy. And move up here, right about here, Arl Decoy always shoots a bit low, so you kind of want to aim up extra high. And we just kind of keep shooting at Arl Decoy at this edge until he throws himself off the edge. And then we're going to do the same thing for the second guy. The third guy tends to move in odd ways, so we can't really bait him off the edge the same way we did the other two. Instead, what we can do is just a little one like right there on or near the ledge to kind of just distract him in general so he's not throwing knives at us, and then use soul masses to kill him. Now, if you want to use a bow as a distraction, there is an easier way of doing all of this. So we have our bow here. We are not going to shoot any enemies with the bow because then it wouldn't be a sorcery only run anymore. But we can use the bow as a distraction to good effect here. So put up in the homing soul mass. Going to shoot the bow right into this corner here to distract the painting guardian. And then run at him with the homing soul masses up. And with red tearstone ring, we only need one of those soul masses to connect to kill. Go ahead and climb up the ladder here. And walk right about to here. And just shoot this archway right here. I know there's like exact setups where you're supposed to shoot to distract these guys. I don't really know them, but somewhere in these general vicinities seems to work. So it's fine. And then move right up to this next spot. Move over a little bit to the right. And shoot right about here somewhere. Like I said, I don't know the exact setups, but this seems to work fine, and that distracts him. Once again, the third painting guardian is a little trickier. So the easiest way to deal with him is stand right here, shoot into the corner to turn him around, and then we just rush straight at him while he's distracted. And by the time he hears us, it's already too late. And so that's how to deal with those guys. So we'll move on now. And before we turn this lever, we're going to head down these stairs right here to this gargoyle. And because of the high place where sorceries start casting from, we can cast right over this railing as he runs forward and kill him without any effort at all. Easy peasy. Then we're going to turn this crank to send the whole mechanism down, opening our way forward. And you want to turn really quick and to check this gargoyle right here. Sometimes, for some reason, he will actually be facing us, and it can actually aggro to us. If that happens, you need to kill him, because trying to just run, because he's very fast, he will catch up, and he will cause problems for us later down the line. Fortunately, they're not too hard to fight. One soul spear will stagger him, and while he's staggered, a single great soul arrow after that will finish him off. And they don't respawn either, so there's not really too big a deal there, but you do need to check to make sure he isn't chasing us. Alright. We're going to head up here now. And we could just run past this guy and then de-aggro him, but I've always found it a little easier. Just bait out an attack, dodge back, fire a soul spear, drop him. And great soul arrow now. We're going to move forward just a little bit. And yeah, we can, with red tearstone ring, we can just one-shot all these guys. We need to move a little closer to get our lock on. And then we want to stay over to kind of the right side here so we don't aggro this third Batwing demon. Over here. And okay. So we need to talk really quick about this ledge right here. This little ledge right here between this archway and this rooftop. There is some weird collision here, which means that you can take damage. And with our low health because of red tearstone ring, that damage can be lethal. And I hear a lot of misconceptions here. I've done dozens of runs, and every time I run through here with red tearstone ring setup, and I've never lost a run to the fall damage here. I know how to avoid the fall damage. I avoid it every time, and this is how you do it. You want to stay right on the center line, and you want to jog. Don't sprint, don't walk, but just full tilt forward on the stick, but not touching the sprint button at all. And just jog perpendicular to this line here. Just straight through like that. Right like this. And if you do it like that, you will never take fall damage there. Get out the binoculars. And we're just going to aim right at that wing there. And then over to this side. Binoculars again. This is a little bit of a harder shot, but as long as you don't hit any of the walls or floor here, you can take as many shots as you want to finish him off. Okay, so now we're dealing with the snipers. We want to quickly run up right up to here. And we're going to turn to the side and cast Homing Soul Mass. We'll lose a couple of them to the wall, but that's fine. And we're just going to wait for a moment. We'll wait for a little lull in the firing. Jog around here. Start sprinting up here. We're going to wait here. This pillar will block the shots from the guy on the left, and we need to listen to the guy on the left. We need to wait until he's fired and then go, because if you go and he shoots while you're up on this ledge here, he can shoot you right in the back. So we're gonna kind of just hang out right here. As soon as we hear that shot, we run, dodge past 2 arrows there, and drop him. And so it's all a matter of timings to make sure that he keeps shooting while we rush him so that we can just hit him like that easy. And I will show you guys a few things with that. Dial up the time here. Right here, we cast the Soul Mass. And the first thing I can show you is if you wait here for long enough, if you're out of their line of sight for long enough, they will de-aggro. And you can use this to your advantage. You can do the same thing right up here and get the guy on the left to de-aggro as well. If you just keep sidestepping this guy's arrows, and you wait here long enough, you will hear the guy on the left stops firing. And you hear? He's not... Guy on the left isn't firing anymore, so we can go. With proper timing, we get him as he's switching his weapons. And just rush him down like that. And so, let's say you don't get that timing right. He gets his sword and shield out anyways. There's still a few things you can do. So the whole like timing and just killing him with the Soul Mass, that's plan A. Let me show you guys plans B, C, and D. So we have our starter shield here equipped on this character. This is where I said that this starter shield would come in handy. I typically don't need it and don't even pick it up anymore, but it comes in handy. So let's say we don't get the kill with Soul Mass. You can see I don't even have it up right now to demonstrate. So as soon as that guy fires on the left, we go. We move in. We're going to bait out a swing and then run away. You see that attack he went for. That's almost always the attack he will open with if you're at this range. That stab, you just kind of run away a bit to that window, and he falls to his death. So that's kind of your plan B if plan A fails. Is to just get him to kind of throw himself off the edge. And I think this is another demonstration of getting him to throw himself off the edge, if I'm not mistaken. Dog right up here. We're gonna listen. As soon as we hear the one on the left fire, we go. Oh, yep. And not as perfect as before. I think we ran a little too far away, but it was good enough to where when he reset his stance. Yeah, it didn't quite move as smoothly as last time, but was still good enough. Where we kind of angled him to throw himself off the edge. I think I needed to move away a little quicker so that he would cut a straight line across that corner. And that would have done it better. But was still good enough. And so that's your plan B right there. And I think I demonstrate plan C here. A little bit early there, but we were safe. Yep. And this is a matter of just learning the parry timings. But parry, and if you have a Soul Spear handy, if you use Soul Spear instead of Great Soul Arrow, you only need to parry him once instead of having to do 2 parries. And let's see. But yeah, that is how you deal with that sniper there. That's plan A, B, and C. D is you just run back down to the safe spot down there. And reset the whole thing. We're going to sit at this bonfire. We're going to get rid of our decoy. We don't need it anymore. We were just using it for the rafters there. And then there's a few ways you can deal with this guy, but what I like to do is homing Soul Mass. And move at him a bit. Soul Mass is fired a little early. Usually I bait out an attack, wait for him to finish it. You keep your back turned to him so the Soul Masses don't discharge early, and then you turn around right as he's finishing his attack, but Soul Masses fired off a little early, and we got him anyways. So now here's where we use the Lloyd's Talismans to get ourselves a guaranteed Symbol of Avarice drop. So the way the guaranteed Symbol of Avarice drop works is the game has a way of guaranteeing you don't miss out on random drops from mobs that don't respawn. So the way it does that is if you kill a certain number of mobs of that type and they haven't dropped the item yet, they will drop it on that final one. There are 7 mimics in the main game, so if you kill 7 mimics, on that 7th kill, if you haven't gotten a Symbol of Avarice drop yet, you will automatically get it on that 7th one. Now, a weird thing, though, is that if you put a mimic to sleep with a Lloyd's Talisman and then loot it, that counts as a kill. Well, actually, just putting it to sleep counts as a kill, but you need to make sure to loot it anyways in case that 1% drop chance comes through while it's asleep. I've seen people miss the guaranteed Symbol of Avarice drop before because they failed to loot the mimic, and the mimic ended up dropping it there. And so if you hit that drop chance on one of the earlier times, whether killing or putting it to sleep, and you don't grab it, you miss it forever. So yeah, we end up killing 3 mimics and putting mimics to sleep 4 times. It counts even though we've already put this one to sleep once, putting it to sleep again. That is the 6th time. We check to make sure that the drop is there. It's not. And so we kill the mimic here. And as long as you do that exactly like I showed, and always check for loot, on the 7th one you are guaranteed a Symbol of Avarice drop. And this just helps us gain additional souls from boss kills, and also helps us set up RTSR. So we're going to run up here, and we're going to do this little quick railing hop. We see where we're going here. Run back, jump, and right over the railing. Easy. And so there's a few ways to set up RTSR here. The way I prefer is I will put on the Symbol of Avarice and let it drain my health down to 420 hit points. This is a setup I learned from Xenosum. So we're waiting for our health to go down to 420. Or thereabouts, close enough. And then we run and we jump and we land right on this railing. Run, jump. We're on the railing, and then we're going to drop down here. Immediately roll out here, run away from that guy. And dodge past this guy. And we are into the Ornstein and Smough boss fight. But if you don't like that Symbol of Avarice setup, I got a couple more for you. So we can put on the Symbol of Avarice. We're going to drop our health down to about half. Now, if you're doing all bosses, you'll have the Dust Crown Ring by now, so you can just use Dust Crown Ring to set your health to half. You can use the drops on the previous staircase, but either way, you get your health down to half. And then we're going to drop here twice. We drop right here once, That's going to bring the giant sentinels towards us. We immediately come back up these stairs. We're going to wait kind of at the top of these stairs. If the first one starts getting too close, you want to back up all the way here to send him back. And then once both giants are kind of over here, just drop here again. And this is also handy if you don't like dodging past those idiots. If you don't like dodging past them, you can just do right like that. And that's a pretty easy red tier stone setup as well. That even allows you to kind of easily bypass those guys as well. Alright, so. Back to... So, we're going to enter the Ornstein and Smough boss fight. Immediately at the start of the fight, we can cast Homing Soul Mass, and we get very nice RNG. Ornstein just kind of jogs at us while Smough is being leisurely. I like to use Homing Soul Mass, and just dodge back from that, because you can control how it discharges based on whether you face the enemy or not, and it's very nice for tracking down Ornstein. Just kind of keeping our distance here. Get a pillar between us and Smough. And a very quick and easy fight. That's pretty much perfect RNG. So, let's show you a little more with this fight and what can be done with it. So, we're gonna pop over to our other footage here. And the first thing I want to show you, and the first thing that you should really practice with these guys, is just moving around and surviving in the boss fight. And because this is a save file, there's a little things that are scuffed with the opening. He shouldn't be able to do that right off the bat on the first encounter with them. But yeah, you notice if I sprint straight at Smough, he will almost always do that jumping overhead slam, and you can just run under him. But learning how to maneuver with these guys, learning just how to survive in the fight, learning how to bait their attacks is something really important you do. And with this swing here, with this horizontal swing, I want to show you something important with this. The horizontal swing of Smough has a huge blind spot right next to him. So if you see him starting up this swing here, just run right against his belly or right over to his right side, your left. But you can run right past him like that easy, and he will whiff every time. Ornstein, as agile as he is, he's actually very slow to turn, so you can kind of hang around his back and sides a lot and even get good openings in melee runs. Just by exploiting that fact and kind of running at Smough, you see I trigger him to do that jumping slam again. Running at Ornstein, I trigger him to do his jumping slam. But learning how to pay attention to them, kind of read them, like Smough is kind of being more defensive here, so sprinting at him this time caused him to do the overhead slam instead of the jumping overhead slam. You'll notice their AI acts a little bit different, and they're more or less likely to do different attacks depending on whether they're in a more or less aggressive stance, whether they're kind of running at you, or if they're just walking at you, or if they're kind of more inclined to side hop. But yeah, I spent some time just kind of running around. I'm just kind of demonstrating openings that you can have. If you just want to ping them, that's another strategy with Sorcery, if you're not comfortable with manipulating the soul masses. You got soul spears too, which can do substantially more damage, but you only have 4 of those, and just shooting at them you can end up missing a lot like that, but hitting Smough instead. But yeah, just spend some time dodging around them, and both of them are very manipulatable. Both of them are very easy to manipulate and draw out different things. But the key is, like, you want to just get some alone time with Ornstein. You want to find ways to distract Smough so that you can get some alone time with Ornstein. Like you can see at the beginning of this exchange, Smough is already charging into that, and so he gets a bit behind. And now he's kind of in this less aggressive walking stance, and he's having problems getting around this pillars. And this gives me plenty of time to bait out attacks from Ornstein. Little risky, I probably shouldn't have gone for this shot here because Smough was already getting around the pillars. And this is also why I don't like going for why I use Soul Mass instead of the pings. Like, right here, he's lined up to do a charge at me, so I shouldn't take this. I kind of do anyways. Roll back once so I don't get clobbered by it. I'm back up against the wall, which actually helps me here as far as the spacing. He has to release the swing now, and then it's just a matter of knowing what the timing is on that upswing on the shovel charge. So with Super Smough, I want to get about mid-range, and then sprint straight at him. And if he does that overhead, we just kind of move around him to the side. A full soul mass and one soul spear will stagger. That'll give you an opening for an extra attack. And once again, with that large swing, you just kind of stay up against his belly or to his right side, your left, and it'll whiff. And Super Smough is very quick and easy. Okay, let's see. What am I showing you guys here now? I'll show you a couple more kills on Ornstein here, and then I'll show you then I'll show you the kill on Smough first in the super Ornstein fight. So we end up getting a big hit on Smough there. But yeah, the key is to just kind of find safe spots where we can have enough safety to cast Homing Soul Mass, keeping our back turned to both of them until we are ready to discharge the Homing Soul Mass on Ornstein. Is the basic strategy we're using here. So we kind of separate them from the pillars. Watch how I kind of move. This is a little subtle movement. I want Ornstein to follow me this way around the pillars, but I want Smough to go around that way to kind of separate them. So I kind of move like so to make Smough go that way, and that gives me enough of an opening to finish Ornstein there. And same like before. When he does that hammer, we can just kind of punish him at range. And yeah, Super Smough is pretty much a pushover when you understand how to maneuver around him. Oh, and one other thing I should mention is when you end phase 1, if Smough has an active hitbox, if the cutscene to phase 2 triggers while Smough is swinging, you want to avoid that area because that hitbox in that area will remain invisible and active until the area is reloaded. So you just want to take the fight somewhere else after. Dodge there. And yeah, we end up getting a big hit on Smough there, which doesn't help us out. Triggered both of them to do their little jumping slam. Yeah, if they're kind of in their more aggressive stance running at you and you run at them, they're very likely to do that attack. Just kind of get a little bit of distance, line it up, easy peasy. And we don't need to see another Super Smough fight. I think you guys get the idea on him pretty easily. And so now what we're going to watch is actually a fight where we kill Smough first. Sometimes this happens on accident, like you saw I got the accidental hit on Smough in that last fight, and if I end up getting 2 of those. And sometimes just the opportunity presents itself, and phase 1 in general is the more dangerous fight. So you kind of want to get out of it as soon as possible. So if you end up having the opportunity to kill Smough, I'll typically take it. You know how to fight Super Ornstein, he's not really that scary or dangerous. A little harder than Super Smough, but he ain't bad. But yeah, we have this little safe spot here to cast. I'll show you. This is a perfect example of a good opening to cast because Smough has his back turned to us and Ornstein is just kind of walking at us and he's far away. He's not likely when he's in this walking stance to do like his big long across the arena charges. So, and we get the pillar between us and him. Smough's still turning around. That's a perfect opportunity to cast. You have to be a little careful with that because you are vulnerable as you're standing there and things move quickly in this fight. So you do need to pick, and Ornstein's in the middle of that big homing lightning attack, and Smough's still a ways off, and we had a pillar to block, so that's a safe opportunity to cast there. I kind of want to draw Smough a bit more forward, because that is a Smough first kill. We are going to demonstrate how to fight Super Ornstein. The hardest thing with Super Ornstein is getting in on him. If he starts this charge, get a pillar between you and him, and then you want to get in right against his left leg. Right on your right. You want to rub up right against this shin. If he does this charge lightning, just hug this shin here. And right after you can cast, and that will whiff every time as long as you hug his shin like that. Right like this. Hug the shin. Cast again. And you see how easy this is. And he doesn't have many attacks he can do when you're in close like this. But you just want to stay right in front of him like this. You hug that shin, and we could have finished him off at any time here, but I'm kind of demonstrating his moveset. Alright, that right there, the little, like, swing, hop back swing. When he rears his spear back like this, you want to get ready, and with proper timing, you just roll right forward through it. And then you can also get a punish in there if you want. But that's and you just get right back in there. And then the final thing that he can do, the only other thing he can do is the butt stomp. You want to start walking back and then roll with that timing there. I'll demonstrate that roll timing one more time. As soon as you see it coming, you back off and roll back like that. And then if that wasn't the finishing blow, I wouldn't have taken that. Usually if you roll back on the butt stomp, you want to get back in there. If you're using a melee weapon, you can rush forward and get a running R1 in on him. But with Sorcery, the main thing you want to do is focus on getting back in there. But the hardest thing is getting in on him. You have to wait for him to do something that gives you an opportunity to run in, and you just keep your distance in the meanwhile. And so, I will show you guys one more fight with Ornstein and Smough. Oh, and this is something I wanted to demonstrate too. When it's your first time into the fight, and only when it's your first time into the fight, if Ornstein does his supercharge like you can see him doing here, he'll always get blocked by Smough, and that gives you an opportunity. That makes it safe to cast Homing Soul Mass right off the bat. But we kind of get some distance here. It's actually nice to draw out this charge as long as he has a clear line of sight to you. It's when he's blocked where you'll start getting the glitch charges. But it's kind of nice sometimes because right now Smough's in front, but this will put Ornstein right next to us, which we like. Smough kind of forces his way to the front again, so I'm going to loop around this way to try and get Ornstein to charge at me again, which he does. And you can see there, because of this angle we're running, Ornstein can only turn so much when he's doing this charge. So we kind of cut this angle in, and we didn't even have to roll there. We could have just strafed that. And I'm reasonably confident, one more thing I want to talk about. So we cut in on this, and I'm reasonably confident. You see how Smough's just kind of walking at me? He's not really running. That's why I'm confident to kind of go in with that. And also, we're a little too close. He probably won't start his charge, but I do have this pillar right here in case he does. But there's just a lot of little things you're thinking about. I draw out a swing from him there and move this way. There's a lot I want to talk about positioning with these guys. But, so right now, Smough's in front. I want to bait out an attack from Smough and then get Ornstein to chase me around the other side of this column. So I'll kind of run forward, I'll bait something out from Smough. We're sprinting at him at mid-range, usually triggers something. I expected to have to dodge a jumping slam, but he actually is nice to me and just gives me this sweep. And meanwhile, Ornstein comes over here for me. Just dodge right past him. He's in the middle of these swings. I could have probably hit him with a soul arrow and finished off, but that... I'm kind of in the open here, but... I bait out something from Ornstein, and I bait out an attack from Ornstein and Smough. I've got this pillar between, so it's safe for me to cast here. And right here, it would be a mistake for me to have gone to the left and get out. And getting out here, instead what I do is just move right in on Ornstein. Especially since he does that hop. I know that I'm safe to move right in here and get him. But there's a lot of things you can do to manipulate them. It's just a matter of taking the time in the fight to learn them. So once again, we'll get kind of mid-range. Sprint. And just run around him like that. Stagger. One shot. Then get away. And as he's finishing up that swing, we shoot and kill. Okay, I think we talked about everything I wanted to talk about with this fight. So we will head back to the main video here. And we put on the symbol of the Avarice right at the end of the fight to get an extra 10,000 souls. Always make sure you, if you're in Red Tier Stone setup, that you drink first before you put on the symbol of Avarice so that the chip damage from it doesn't kill you. And right in here, we could just talk to Guinevere and get the Lord Vessel, but that's slow. It's much quicker to just murder her and take it. And so that's what we do. Also, this gets a Sentinel out of our way and makes our life a little easier later. So, we now have the Lord Vessel, the ability to warp around. So let's head back to Firelink. And because we want to sell things to Frampt, because we want to take advantage of that, we are going to place the Lord Vessel with him. But first, we want to get a second copy of Soul Spear. So the way we do that is we talk to Logan. We'll go ahead and buy Great Soul Arrow while we're here. But we talk to Logan. You need to make sure you completely finish his dialogue. Don't walk away while he's talking. You don't necessarily have to buy the spell here, but it's helpful. And button mash through his dialogue. Make sure to complete his dialogue before going away from him. Then we'll go ahead and talk to Frampt. Blah, blah, blah. Place the Lord Vessel with him. Warp back up. And we have some items we want to sell here. Feed him the items, the coins that we got. If you're doing all bosses, go ahead and feed him the humanity. That's some extra souls there. But if you're doing any percent, you want to hang on to that. The Dragon Tooth that we got from the basement of Anor Londo. And if you're doing all bosses, hang on to the gold hem set. But if you are just doing any percent, go ahead and sell it for an extra 4,000. And now, since we had that dialogue with Logan and he said that he was headed out, he is now gone. And as a result, Griggs now has a copy of Soul Spear to sell us. So we'll buy that from him. And Griggs' usefulness to us is at a close. There's one final purpose he can serve. Single Soul Spear kills him. And we get the Slumbering Dragon Crest Ring. Which means that we did not have to get it from Sen's Fortress. A little bit of extra convenience for us. So now we are headed down into the catacombs. We want to get the Skull Lantern so that we can trade it for Ring of Fog. That will be very helpful to us in the later segments of the game. So we just run past all these skeletons here. And we're gonna get this guy to rush us forward. We want to rush into the staircase. We want to pull him as far away from everything else as possible. And if you move far enough away, you will get him to leash back, and you can easily shoot him there. He will reanimate, so you need to move quickly here. We're gonna run in. We're going to bang our staff against the wall here in order to distract the other skeleton. You want to bang it like somewhere around here. You don't want to like knock around here. That's not going to turn that skeleton that's back here enough. You want to knock around here, and then very quickly swap into swap out the Red Tier Stone for Slumbering Dragon Crest Ring. Right, like that. And then we run past him before he even notices what's going on. Run past these guys, and if you're fast, they won't see you. They won't have spawned you'll already be past by the time they're gone. By the time they spawn. And they won't hear you because we have Slumbering Dragon Crest. Stop here before turning this corner and cast Homing Soul Mass. And then run in, dodge past his fireball, kill him, and as quickly as you can, sit here before any of the skeletons come in here and prevent you from sitting down. Now we want to attune our second copy of Soul Spear. Hit the lever. And continue down into the catacombs. Once again, with Slumbering Dragon Crest Ring, they won't hear us, so those skeletons won't aggro. You want to run up here and stop right before these rocks. Stop kind of right before these rocks. Pull out the binoculars, zoom in, kind of get a good aim. And single Soul Spear will kill him. Move forward a little bit here. And now that that Necromancer is dead, these skeletons will die permanently. You can just shoot them at max range and not even have to worry about them. So now, you're going to stand right here, and we're looking. We don't want to drop down here until there's no exploding skulls nearby. If there's an exploding skull right here, and you get a hard fall, that will kill you. Wait until that one kind of floats away a little bit, and then drop, roll, and then immediately drop here. If you want to do this a little bit safer, what you can do after this initial drop is go into the little like tomb that's right over to the side here, like just straight forward here and to the right, and wait there about a minute, and that will make sure all the skeletons that are up the path further will de-aggro. But if you want to just move fast, just drop here, and as long as you're fast here, you'll be fine. Walk right to the edge here, kind of angle your camera like that to get lock on, shoot him, and then as long as you have Slumbering Dragon Crest, you can just kind of move along here, and the other bone wheels won't see or hear you, and we can head right into Pinwheel. So we are going to need to heal because we won't survive the drop into Pinwheel's layer, but we're going to cast Homing Soul Mass first, because Homing Soul Mass takes into account the damage boost that you have active when you cast it, not when it discharges. So we're going to heal out of RTSR range here, but since RTSR was active when we casted Homing Soul Mass, it's still going to be active. And we just run on by. Boom. Barely even notice a boss there. If any of the soul masses miss, you might have to stop and hit him with a quick soul spear, but it's a very quick fight. Just run in like that, and very quick and easy. You shouldn't have to dodge anything there. Barely worth talking about. Pinwheel's like an early game boss we're fighting super late. So, Tomb of the Giants. Running through Tomb of the Giants is pure rote memorization. You just need to memorize this route. So, from the first little like prism stone you see, and there'll be different colors based on like when you go through, it's random what color they are. You want to go just to the left of this little first prism stone, down this here. When you see the glowing eyes, you want to hug this wall and just run right around him. And then you'll see Lost Islith in the distance. You want to run here, you want to jump a little bit off to the left. Drop. Drop. And then you want to roll towards Lost Islith and like right to the left of those bones there. And you want to be a little bit off to the side here, because one of the giant skeletons can chase you down here. So you don't want to like go straight to the bonfire. I should actually be just a little more forward here to be safe, because they can drop down and they'll drop right here and can land on you if you're too close to that landing point. But we're going to sit here just to have it as a warp point that we can warp to in the future. Climb up this ladder. And right along this wall to the Prism Stone, we'll get kicked down by Patches. Grab the souls, but more importantly, we grab the Skull Lantern. And we're out of here. And so now we are going to head back to Asylum to get the Ring of Fog. So yeah, just up around here. You start taking the lift up. You drop onto this. You can go over here. Some people like to do a running jump. I just like to jog forward and roll there. And you go ahead and curl up like a ball. And you hang out here for a minute. And off we go. And so there is like a little thing you can do where you go off to the side and don't even aggro these guys, but I just like to deal with them here and now. But just be careful, keep your distance, and watch out because these boys can be crazy aggressive. If they start getting too close, just run back and away. Once they're dealt with, we can go ahead and drop Skull Lantern. Quit out. And now is a decision time. Now we have a decision to make. Are we going to do Duke Skip or not? Duke Skip can save us a lot of time, but is something extra you have to learn. So if you don't want to do Duke Skip, if you want to just do kind of the slower, safer strats for Duke's Archives, you also want to trade with Snuggly a Humanity. Trading a Humanity will give you a Ring of Sacrifice, which will allow us to carry our souls through the scripted death with Seath the Scaleless. So if you're going to do that, if you're going to take the scripted death to Seath the Scaleless, you want to trade a Humanity with Snuggly now in order to get a Ring of Sacrifice. But if you're going to do Duke Skip, go ahead and just Homeward Bone out. We're ready to go to the Duke's Archives. I want to go ahead and swap out the Red Tearstone Ring for the Ring of Fog here. And right here, we would have to dodge past at least one of the giant sentinels if we hadn't killed Gwendolyn. Guinevere, I'm sorry. And jog right up here. Want to move forward here. Right about to this point, right when we can barely get a lock on, make sure he's not aggroed and charging you already. Shoot him once. If he starts doing this little hoofy stomp thing, sometimes he'll insta-charge. If he does, you need to immediately start running back. But if he starts doing the little hoofy stomp thing, you can shoot again and kill him. But the easier thing to do is just jog back. If you have Ring of Fog on, he'll de-aggro pretty quick. And then just move in for the kill. And I moved in a little too quick there. You want to wait until he's completely turned around so he doesn't start turning like that. But easy enough to deal with. And then we're going to slap on Slumbering. That makes it a little easier to sneak past the second piggy. And we're going to run straight to the lever here. As long as you're quick, that little piggy's not a problem. So, there's a few ways through this next area, but the way I like is this quick little thing. You take off the Ring of Fog, so that you aggro these two, and you wait. This part right here will block all the arrows as long as you haven't moved since you came up here. As soon as he starts sprinting, as soon as this melee guy starts sprinting, you want to put the Ring of Fog back on. So we wait. Then as soon as he starts sprinting, put the Ring of Fog back on. Wait until he comes around to the right. Here, he will always go around to the right. Even if it seems like he's veering more to the left, he'll always come around to the right. Want to move, strafe the arrow, run straight up the center. Around to the left side. Don't go around to the right. And then around here, watch as you're coming through this passageway here. Hold on. So yeah, around that guy, you roll an arrow if you have to. It's better if you can strafe, though. But just straight up the middle. As you're coming through this passageway here, watch if there might be a soul arrow coming your way. Be ready to roll it to the left if there is. But you want to run right along this wall here. Right up to there and through that way. And as long as you run the lines like this, you'll be perfectly safe. Run, grab the soul, and just wait right here. This guy will de-aggro. And if you wait here, everything will de-aggro. And since we have Slumbering Dragon Crest Ring, the other hollow here, this boy right here does not notice us. He doesn't know. But we wait for everything to de-aggro. The Channeler will de-aggro, everyone will de-aggro. And then we run around here. Past the archers. Up to the top of the tower. And go ahead and pop a solar too while you're heading up these elevators. Now, I'm going to show you how to do Duke Skip here. I'm not going to go into great detail with it though. I will link in the description below a couple videos by runners far more talented than me on a couple different ways you can do Duke Skip. But it's basically a creative little bit of parkour that allows you to bypass the whole scripted death with Seath and running through the prison archives prison and all that nonsense. There's a few different ways of doing it. I learned it a long time ago from the speedrunners of old and practice it in their ways. So what we do is we pull the lever, we immediately sprint into this corner, we sprint against this wall until this banister is even with this area right here. I actually went a little early there. And then we turn and sprint and land on this railing. We scoot over just a little bit, and then we wait. As soon as these banisters are even, right like this, we're going to roll forward like that, aiming for kind of right here is typically where I'm aiming for, kind of right between these pillars. And we land on the railing and off. Easy. Perfect. So we're going to peek around the corner, get lock on, zip around the corner as we cast. He's dead. And then we just keep running through here. And run straight to this ladder. Get on it. Start climbing down. Don't slide down, but just climb down until the arrow passes over your head, and then you can slide down. If you go for the slide down immediately, you will get shot. So, let's say you don't want to do that little bit of parkour. Let's say you want to take your time here. Let's say you want to go through the prison section. Well, I've got a strat for you too. And so you'll want to have picked up the Ring of Sacrifice from Snuggly earlier. We're going to go ahead and put on Bellowing Dragon Crest Ring, because we need to deal with the Crystal General here. Get right to where you can lock on, and just start spamming Soul Spears. If he gets too close, run back and away, and he'll de-aggro, but yeah, Ring of Fog and Bellowing Dragon Crest Ring, killing him is pretty easy. Kill this Crystal Lizard just to get it out of your way. And before we head into this place, we're going to equip the Ring of Sacrifice. Actually, I have two in this save file. There's actually several you can pick up, but the one from Snuggly is probably the easiest. Well, we're going to go ahead and head in and just wait here at the fog gate. You have no chance of getting cursed, and you'll get instantly killed by his mega explosion that he eventually does here. And, you know, you can go get some water. If you're streaming, go catch up with chat. And the Ring of Sacrifice allows us to maintain our soul count. You can't hit him with any sorceries while you are in here, unless you went and got Dark Fog from the DLC. But you can give him a whack with the staff. Grab the archives key. Open the door. Immediately, as soon as you've opened the door, go ahead and Homeward Bone. You don't have to deal with any of those guys. But we use the Homeward Bone there just to reset the area so we don't have to deal with all the squid ladies coming up here. These guys just run on past as though the squids are still after them, so we don't need to bother with them. You never need to mess with those snake guys, whether you're coming down here or leaving the archives. You just kind of ignore them, and as long as you're quick, they're not even an issue. We're heading down this super long staircase. We head up this ladder. And we have Ring of Fog and Bellowing Dragon Crest Ring on. So, as soon as we get up here, we turn the camera, we lock on, and then we move around the corner as we are casting Soul Spear. First shot will usually be blocked, but you followed up immediately with a second. That kills. Then you can lock on and kill this boy without him noticing you. And then this snaky lady, same thing. We grab the key that allows us to escape the prison. And homeward bone back up to the top. And once again, just run as long as you're quick here. And those snakes aren't even an issue. Climb this ladder. They're after us, but they're not going to catch us. Even with this massive door opening animation. As soon as you pass through here, immediately cut left. There is a melee guy there that can hit you if you don't. Sprint through here and you'll be fine. As soon as you get into this doorway, stop and you want to cast Homing Soul Mass. Don't go any farther forward or this guy can shoot you. And you actually kind of want to be more over to the right so that this pillar blocks his line of sight, but we're fine here. And for this guy, you want to rush him, but you don't want to run straight at him. You want to run at an angle a bit to like forward and to the right a little, like right towards this pillar, because one of the attacks he can do instead of the dancing he's doing here is a quick stab. And if you run straight at him, you will run straight into that and be skewered. But if you run off to the right here, it'll whiff and your soul masses will stagger him. Immediately follow up with a soul spear. If you don't shoot that soul spear quick enough, he can teleport, but then you just follow him. He'll teleport like down here and you just follow and kill him quick there. Okay, so right here, while we're in this passageway, we're going to cast Homing Soul Mass. Run here. I should dodge. Like, you want to run and just automatically dodge here no matter what, because there is a melee boy right here who can leap at us. But for some reason, I decided not to do that in this footage. And he barely misses because I was off to the left, but you want to dodge that. And a lot of times he won't even chase us, but if he does, we have to deal with him. And the best thing to do is just get close enough. You notice what I do. I'm not trying to like read his attacks. As soon as he gets close enough to do an attack, I just dodge backwards. And he has nothing that he can do that will roll catch us. But yeah, see, as soon as he gets close enough, I just dodge backwards. And he has some long recovery from his attacks, which allow us to get into position and shoot him. I shouldn't have taken that shot, but yeah, as soon as he gets close enough, I just get close enough to bait down an attack. As soon as he's close enough to do an attack, I just dodge back immediately. So for this guy, we're going to head a little bit up the stairs, get a lock on. And just step back, and that'll dodge the arrow. Fire, and if he gets a second arrow off, you just dodge forward to avoid it. Turn the crank. And we are on our way up. And now our paths have converged. You want to stand right here. Wait for him to shoot. As soon as he shoots, just roll forward through it. Drop, roll up the stairs, run straight to the switch. Pull it, roll back, and head down the stairs. And the paths have converged. Run straight to this ladder. Grab it, climb down a few rungs until the arrow passes over your head, and then you can slide down. And the paths have converged. But you see how long that took? That in all took about 5 minutes. Yeah. Pretty much exactly 5 minutes. Whereas, actually slightly over 5 minutes all told. Whereas, in this run, let's watch again how quick that was. So we run, dab, yeet. And we're in. See how much quicker that is? See how stylish that is? See how that avoids a quote-unquote unskippable hit death? See how nice that is? So, I mean, and it seems hard to do at first. You're not going to nail Duke Skip first try, but you give it like 10-15 minutes of practice a day over the course of a week or two, and you can get it. I'm going to put some videos down in the description, some pretty good tutorials. There's a few different methods of doing it. We want to unlock this here and sit at the bonfire. Not just to get some of our spellcast back, but also we need this bonfire to warp back to later in order to get the crystal sorceries. So just go ahead and go here, sit at the bonfire. And open the shortcut here. And we're headed down to the Crystal Caves. We have the Ring of Fog and Slumbering Dragon Crest Ring on. And we're just going for a little jog here. There's a couple golems we need to dodge past. The first one right here, you can dodge past him either side. I prefer going to the right here. You dodge past whatever swing. If he does that jump, you can just run right past him. And we're going to go right to this little crook where the path, like, takes this sharp turn right down into the little crook and slowly walk and drop off there. And then we're going to slap on Symbol of Avarice, and that will finish off our Red Tearstone setup. If you don't have Symbol of Avarice, you can kind of go back in the cave a little bit, and there's some drops you can take there. You want to stay to the left here, as you can see, if you go over to the right, you start sliding down. But, yeah, dodge past that Crystal Golem there. And let me show you something. Okay, I should have stayed more to the left there to avoid sliding down like that. So, to know where this invisible platform is, what I do is, I'm trying to get good visual on it. It's kind of hard because my character model's blocking the way, but you want to kind of just run straight. But I'm looking at this right here. This right here is what I'm looking at. This little, like, part of the floor on the other side that's jutting out. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I want to run towards. I run straight towards that. Right there. And that allows me to sprint past. And you do want to move here because that golden golem can chase you down there. So you do want to move somewhat quickly. And now we are in Red Tearstone range, so we're going to swap out Slumbering Dragon Crest Ring for Red Tearstone. We still want Ring of Fog on. So Ring of Fog and Red Tearstone, we cast Homing Soul Mass. And right like that, one Homing Soul Mass and one Great Soul Arrow will kill a clam. And on like this for all the other clams. Make sure we get no clams following us into the boss fight. It's a little bit excessive, you don't really need to kill all the clams, but what the heck, why not? Heck those clams. Alright, now we want to swap back to Red Tearstone and Bellowing Dragon Crest Ring. And it's time to fight Seath. Now, if we wanted to be really cool and really quick, we would immediately turn around and just shoot a Soul Spear to break the crystal here. But we're going to do the slightly easier thing, get back behind the crystal and just kind of wait for Seath to get close to us. Roll through it to smash it. You want to wait half a second because it takes a little while for Seath's immortality to wear off, just like a second or so. And you want to free aim shots right into the center mass here because he takes a lot more damage to there than he does by shooting into the tentacles or locking on. But yeah, it only takes 5 Soul Spears to kill. And you don't even have to dodge any attacks of his. Just behind here. Once he gets close enough, you roll, you move forward for a little bit, and then you just start casting and kind of move off to the side as you do it. 5 shots is all it takes. We drink, we put on the Symbol of Avarice to get an extra 12,000 souls. And we are swapping out Red Tearstone for the Ring of Fog. Go ahead and Homeward Bone back. And that puts us back here in Archives with a lot of souls. And now that Seath is dead, Logan will have freed himself and is waiting for us right in this little library here. So we're going to buy a few spells from him, mainly Homing Crystal Soul Mass, Crystal Soul Spear, and if you didn't buy it earlier, you want to buy a second copy of Great Soul Arrow. We bought that back from him in Firelink Shrine, but if you didn't buy it then, you want to buy it now. But after our business is concluded, we're going to go ahead, cast Homing Soul Mass. You want to make sure you have Bellowing Dragon Crest on. Homing Soul Mass. Free aim a Soul Spear into him. Homing Soul Mass will finish him off. And go ahead and swap back to Slumbering Dragon Crest Ring. Get the Tin Crystallization Catalyst. And Logan's Big Hat. Logan's Big Hat doesn't give you any bonuses other than fashion, but fashion is important. And now we want to... Okay, what I should do here, I think I realized this mistake later, I should level up Attunement and attune the crystal sorceries I just got. But I neglected to do that. So here we are. And I think I realized and boned back later. Okay, so once again, running through Tomb of the Giants, this is pure rote memorization. So, what you want to, oh, actually, what we do first is we want to talk to Patches. Make sure to say no when he asks for forgiveness, and you get a free Twin Humanities. So, against this wall, you want to hug this wall as if your life depends on it. Because it does. Did you... I want to pull this back just a few seconds. I want you guys to see how close this swing comes to me. We're going to go half speed. Right here, right here. Hug this wall around this turn, because right there, you see these jaws. If you take this sloppy, if you just kind of cut the corner here, you will get slapped by that. So you want to hug this wall as if your life depends on it, because it does. As you sprint through here, but as long as you hug that wall, his attack should fall just short. So through here to the fog wall. You want to pass through the fog wall. As soon as you get through the fog wall, you want to run towards the light. Eventually, you will drop. As soon as you drop, you want to roll right. Then you want to run forward, and you want to pass just to the right of these glowing eyes here. He will always whiff. And you can kind of run at the slope and jump up here and get the Silver Serpent Ring if you want. But I don't really care to. And it's a little faster going this top route, but there's a tricky drop there. So I just go drop here, run along this wall, and eventually, as soon as you round that corner, you turn left, drop down here, and you are through Tomb of the Giants. And I would show you guys that again, but I'm pretty sure I will realize that I forgot to attune my crystal sorceries. Yep. Here I am like, oh wait. So we homeward bone back. We go ahead, I realize I don't have the attunement slots. Yeah, we need to spend all our souls now. We just pump attunement to 23. If you only have enough for 22, that's fine. For now, we'll get the rest after Nito, but we go Crystal Homing Soul Mass, Crystal Soul Spear, and then Great Soul Arrow. And that is our arsenal for the rest of the run. But same running tactic as before, we just don't have the fog wall anymore to be a guiding light, but get up against this wall, hug this wall as though your life depends on it. This time the dog attacked late, but as soon as you kind of pass through this archway, you want to run towards the light. As soon as you drop, roll to the right, and then roll forward, pass to the right side of that giant skeleton. Drop down here, hug this wall. As soon as you kind of curve around that wall, go ahead and turn left to drop there. One more left turn drops us here, and we are through Tomb of the Giants. It's just that easy. So now we are going to head in, and this is just running straight forward. There's nothing here that's really that dangerous. This bone pillar's in your way, but if you wait, it just it goes down. Those guys aren't a threat as long as you keep running. And you can grab this 10k soul if you want. You don't really need it. These pinwheels are not really a threat as long as you have Ring of Fog and Slumbering Dragon Crest Ring on. We're just gonna run straight here. By the time this guy notices us, we're already past him. Run here. I like to roll there just to make sure. You saw how that second pinwheel did a little bit of a drop. He can land on you and give you a little bit of a stagger. So you just want to kind of roll right about there, get past him, down into the Nito fight, and double check, make sure Ring of Fog and Slumbering Dragon Crest Ring, you need to have both those equipped when you go into the Nito fight. And we put on the big hat for extra fashion. There's no other reason to wear it than that. So okay, let me explain what happens here. So, you might notice somehow that Gravelord Sword Plunge didn't hit me. That is because the animation is a little deceptive. The hitbox for that attack is actually much smaller than it appears. It's a very small circle that's low to the ground and centered around your character's feet. Blocking while two-handing any weapon that does not have great in the name, anything that's not a great sword, a ultra great sword, a great axe, or a great hammer, will spread your character's legs enough to where this attack doesn't hit. And we are actually avoiding the hit entirely. We're not blocking it. If we were blocking it, we would see some stamina depletion. You would hear a hit noise, and the tin crystallization catalyst does not have 100% block, so we would take damage and probably die. But yeah, so you wait until you just wait right where you drop. You don't even try and roll out of the hard fall until he gets like kind of past this stalagmite. We move in, we test the range with Great Soul Arrow. We do a couple of those, and then we give the big hits with the Crystal Soul Spears. Nito's a bit of a tanky boy, and we don't have our rings boosting our damage. But you just kind of keep out of his reach. If you need to, it's pretty easy to move close to him. If you're right up against him, none of his sword swings will hit, and you just have to watch out for the AoE. Nito is very simple. But okay, we're gonna grab a few extra souls. At this point, souls don't even really matter. We have all the stats we need. I'm just throwing extra points into endurance because I have nothing better to spend them on. If you're doing all bosses, you want to spend some more points in attunement. You actually want to go up to about 28 attunement, maybe even 34. And then from there, you want to be putting points. You might consider putting points into dexterity because that can, near the end of the game, give you some faster casting speed. But for any percent, yeah, just 23 attunement and then start pumping endurance. And so now we are headed into New Londo Ruins, which isn't a difficult section, but it's very tightly scripted, so you kind of want to do things exactingly. I'm going to grab this transient curse. And we want to pop that item. And there are some speedier strats through here, but I like busting ghosts, so we're just gonna zap every ghost that comes our way. So the first two ghosts here. Wait for the second one to get past those walls. And head up here at the top of these stairs. There are two more ghosts. If you stay off to the left, you can spawn them in one at a time. And just shoot them as they spawn in. Oh yeah, and we have Ring of Fog and Bellowing Dragon Crest. Ring of Fog doesn't really do anything here, but Bellowing Dragon Crest is nice. We're going to sprint forward. You need to be fast when you do this. There's two ghosts we're baiting out. You sprint forward, and then without stopping sprinting, you want to like turn just like a quick little U-turn like that, and stop right here around where the broken tiles are. It's very important to be fast there and to do this like as one fluid little U-turn. If you stop and then try and run back, that will delay you enough to where that ghost can hit you. But we're gonna shoot one, and we're waiting on a second. Sometimes that ghost comes out quick, sometimes it takes a while, but just wait there until it comes out. Want to move in here, shoot the ghost at the end of the hallway there. Kind of jog in here. We got 1, 2, and then we need to move to the back of the room. We got a third there. And that wipes them all out. Head around here. We got one more ghost. You could run past her if you want, but why not take her out? Okay, up and around here. Gonna swap to our tin crystallization catalyst. So, okay, I should explain. The tin crystallization catalyst, let me show you guys. So the reason we're using the sorcerer's staff instead of the tin crystallization catalyst here is because the sorcerer's staff is weaker, but the tin crystallization catalyst will cut our spell cast in half. You see I have 29 great soul arrows, but when I swap to tin crystallization, it's only 14. So we're using the sorcerer's catalyst for the ghosts because it's high enough damage to one-shot them, and it doesn't and it allows us to conserve more of our soul arrows. But once we're shooting at Ingward, we'll swap to tin crystallization. We use the binoculars. You want to aim very high, like higher than you would think. And that's actually a little low. I almost hit the lip there. But 2 shots with tin crystallization will kill him. Run to these stairs right here. As soon as you reach those stairs, run back. And you want to not go to the top of the stairs. If you go to the top of the stairs, there's a couple ghosts that can hit you in the back. but kind of right about here is where you want to wait. And 2 ghosts should be coming out through this wall any second now. There they are. Lock on, shoot them. And then there's 3 ghosts down here in the water we're gonna kill. So go back to these stairs. And there's 1. There's 2 right there, as soon as we can get a lock on. And then the 3rd one's right over there. And if they start getting close, if you're like missing shots or whatever, feel free to run back. That will de-aggro them, and you can kind of play with their aggro as much as you need to until you get them. Once they're dead, we're gonna run forward here until we're right at this doorway and then run back. That baits out this ghost. Shoot her, and we are done and through. With plenty of soul arrows to spare because we've been using the sorcerer's staff. So now, we're gonna open this door with the key that dropped from Ingward. Go ahead and open this way to the 4 Kings. Swap out Bellowing Dragon Crest Ring for the Covenant of Artorias. Tin Crystallization at the ready. Homing Crystal Soul Mass at the ready. Drink to make sure we're at full health. This red tier stone setup is exacting and you need to be at full health for it. The reason we have Ring of Fog on is there is a Dark Wraith right about here, and he will aggro onto us as soon as we drop here, unless we're wearing Ring of Fog. Wearing Ring of Fog means we don't have to worry about him. So drop here. Run to the Fog Gate. Head on through. And then sprint forward and to the right. You want to sprint forward and to the right there. That'll drop you right here. And that's a perfect red tier stone setup right there. Quick and easy. We cast Homing Soul Mass. Crystal Homing Soul Mass. And we drop into the fight with the 4 Kings. Now, you can do little things to, like, prevent them from doing projectiles early, but on a sorcery run, I don't care if they do projectiles, so I just run straight in here. I think he does do the projectile. Run straight in and loop it. It has poor turning, so we can sprint right in, get the Soul Mass to hit, run away. As soon as he's resolved his attack, and we have some good distance, we can cast this again. And we're just going to run away from it now. The king is on the verge of death. Any damage will kill him at this point. We're going to kind of run away. As soon as the bolt dissipates, we're going to run in there. We kind of get some screwy things with him going for that, so we weren't able to punish as much as we'd like. But Homing Crystal Soul Mass up. It whiffs entirely. So let's try that again. Dodge. We get a good solid hit, 1770 there. That's exactly what we're looking for. Final Crystal Homing Soul Mass. He throws that. And, okay, I shouldn't have killed him there, because right like that. So, if you end the fight and this projectile is active, it will stay active after the cutscene. And the cutscene kind of teleports you to a specific spot in the room. I've been teleported directly into this bolt before. And you can see it almost happened again right there. We're very close. So just be aware, if you do end the fight and one of those bolts is active, first of all, try to avoid doing that. Try not to do that. But if you do, just be aware that you need to be looking for it and you need to immediately be ready to run from it. Like you can see, I don't see it in this direction. I should have immediately started sprinting in the direction I didn't see it. But, yep, right there. Run, 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 run. And we are fine. And 4 Kings can be... It's not really hard with sorcery because we have so much damage output and the damage race is null and void. But there's can be a few tricky things. So, once again, we are going to... jump to the supplemental footage and blah blah blah. We're gonna check out our 4 Kings fight. And right here, yeah, I show off that Dark Wraith right there. That's why we're wearing Ring of Fog, so that we don't aggro him. I'll show off a few fights with the 4 Kings. Just show a few things, including how you can predict when they're gonna spawn. You can actually do that based on music cues. But yeah, run to the right here. Want to slap on red tear stone. Homing crystal soul mass. Drop in. And head on in. Let's see. We get the bolt opener again, but that's not a problem. We just sprint straight in, get the free hit with the homing crystal soul mass. Dodge. If he goes for a sword swipe right after that, you do need to dodge. It's a good practice just to dodge anyways when they're swinging like that, because space can be a tricky thing in the featureless abyss. But we've got him on the verge of death here. As soon as that dissipates, we want to run in. Yeah, that stab can cause the soul masses to miss. But if you get a proper timing there, you can get 2 soul spears into him as he's dying from the homing crystal soul mass. But yeah, you can see with the damage, it's pretty easy to get 2 kings. If you're doing all bosses, then with the Crown of Dusk and Dark Bead, you can actually get 1 king. That's a bit of a trickier setup. It's actually more trouble than it's worth to try and get that setup. Oh, final thing I wanted to talk about. If you didn't kill those ghosts that were down in the water earlier, then what you want to do is you want to hang out up here a little bit to draw them up towards you and away from the fog wall. So if you did a faster strat through New Londo and those ghosts are still alive, you do want to hang up on that ledge just for a moment to draw them away from the fog wall and then drop down, and then you can do this setup safely. Red tear stone. Homing crystal soul mass. And we'll head in here. But you can see with that stab, a lot of times the soul masses go over his shoulder, so we kind of want to position ourselves. And actually, here we go for the early kill on the first king. I think there was something I wanted to show off here. I don't remember what, though, but yeah, we're just waiting for the second king to spawn. A lot of people will drop an item when they first drop in here to... Oh, yeah, I'm getting the music up. I wanted to show off the king, the sound cues for the king spawning. But you can control when the soul masses discharge based on whether you're facing the enemy or not. Like, I'm keeping myself sideways to the king so they don't fire, and then I move towards. Forgot I didn't have any more crystal soul spears. But you can see, we kill the king so quick that the damage race challenge of this fight is pretty much moot. Oh yeah, and we're gonna get another one here where fight ends with a bolt active, so we need to... This time it at least was farther away from the center because it was the third king and not the second. But yeah, you don't want to sit at the bonfire while that bolt is active, because it will hit you while you're sitting. Oh yeah. I wanted to show you guys, if you don't have Ring of Fog on, that Dark Wraith right down there, you'll see he will aggro. You can hear him chasing us. And we have iframes while we pass through the fog gate, but he can kind of launch an attack right after you get through the fog gate, and that makes this RTSR setup a bit risky and the general run a bit riskier. So best to just wear a Ring of Fog for that section. And drop in. Now, if you listen... Actually, I think I demonstrate this better in a later fight, but if you listen, you can actually tell when the second, third, and fourth king are going to spawn based on the points of the music, because the music is synced up with their spawning. They will always spawn at the same exact time every time. You can see we're kind of hanging out at mid-range. But also, so this bolt has very poor turning, and that's how I knew it was safe to be here. So I'm gonna run in at a specific timing so that the bolt, so that I can stand next to the king and the bolt will just circle around us. Like right like this. You see it's passing right behind me, so I know it's just gonna keep circling around us because of its poor turning radius, and I'm safe to do the full, like, 2 Soul Spear punish into the king here. Then I need to run for a little bit from the bolt. I could have probably just kept looping it. Oh, I can get back into the loop. But you can kind of even chase the bolt, and that can be a fun thing to do. Oh, final thing I should have mentioned, maybe I should have demonstrated this too, is that when the bolt fades right here, its hitbox is actually active for like a second or two after it fades. Like right now it's still active, and even like right now it's still active for just like about half a second longer. So that's something you want to be careful of. And see, he's moving to the side, so I started moving. I stopped running straight at him, started moving to the side too, so that the soul masses didn't discharge while he was strafing. But I try and get the soul masses to discharge while he's in his recovery frames, not in the active frames of his swing, because the active frames of his swing can very much... Like right there, I shouldn't have gone for that. Oh, this is something I want to show you guys. He goes for a grab, and we are at close range. We're too close to we're too close to run away. Like, most people will tell you you should just run away from the grab, but if you're close like this, if you see him do this spin move, he's going for the grab, and we went for a cast here, so we're too close. We're not going to be able to run away. What you want to do is run to the left and then roll. And if you're really slick, you don't even have to do the roll, but I'm not that cool. So he's going for the grab here. I'm going to run to the left and roll. And it whiffs. Show you that a couple more times. If you get close range and you don't read it in time, just run to the left and roll. One more time, because that's a fun little maneuver. That's 100% consistent if you practice it. But right here, roll. Boom. But just run to the left past him and roll, and you're good. One more time, because it's so fun. Just run to the left, roll. Easy peasy. And you can see our own spells are active after the cutscene plays, which is kind of funny to see your own soul spear fly over your head like that. But yeah, if you're at kind of farther range and you see that grab coming, you can just run away. But if you're at close range and you see it coming, what you want to do is just run past him to the left, and you want to roll right as he starts shooting forward. Okay, so we're probably spending more time than we need to on the Four Kings, but it's worth going over in general, and it's a fun fight too, so we'll spend the time, Charge in here. And yeah, we keep getting the bolt, but it's not even an issue. We just loop him, dodge, and just kind of learn the timings. There's a lot of strafes you can do in the Four Kings fight, but none of them are worth learning on caster runs. Those are really only helpful for melee runs where you need to conserve stamina. Casters, just learn the timings of the attacks. We kind of roll in there, we get a 1-2. I probably shouldn't have gone for that, but I did. And that's a quick kill there. Okay, so we're gonna nerf our damage in this next fight so that I can show you guys the audio cues for knowing when the kings are gonna spawn. Because you can actually tell when each king is gonna spawn based on, if you learn the music, you can learn when each king is gonna spawn, because the music of the Four Kings fight is synced to their spawning. Each king will spawn at the same point of the song each time. I think I actually even turn up the music here slightly. Well, we're just gonna ping them a little bit to drag out the fight some. Whoop. Dance around a little bit. In here right about when the music swells again. Right about now. Yep, there he is. A little bit after the music swells. I'm just kind of showing off also just how easy it is to dodge when you're at range for these guys. Whoop. Locked on, locked off, whatever. And then when the horns kind of come in, this third king will spawn. Turn up the music a little bit. And right about now. There he is. So yeah, you don't even have to have track of time in your head. Just as long as you know the music, you can know when the kings are going to spawn. That was an odd way for a soul spear to miss. But yeah, at range, these guys are very easy to dodge. And you can see how to dodge some of their attacks. You can spend a little bit of time or come into this fight without red tearstone and just kind of learn how to hang with them, get a few shots in on them, and learn the fight that way. And then right after the pounding drums is when I think the fourth king spawns. This is the one I'm the least familiar with. Yep. Or actually not at the end of the pounding drums, just near the end of the pounding drums. Let me listen to that cue again. Okay, it goes into the din din din, and it's after the second or third instance of that. This is the second instance. Yep, right at the fourth and final kind of end of the din 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 is when the fourth king spawns. That's the spawn I'm the least familiar with for obvious reasons. But yeah, that is the four kings. They can be a little tricky in any run, but with sorcery we have so much damage on them, it's not really a big danger. And head back to the main run. So, we just have two bosses left. The Bed of Chaos and Gwyn himself. Let's head back to Firelink Shrine. Because we did not grab the Daughter of Chaos Spawnfire earlier, we do have to drop down again. And since we don't want to fight, in any percent, we don't want to fight Fire Sage and Centipede. And so that's why we were gathering all this humanity. And you can see with everything we gathered, we have 31. We need 30 in order to bypass those two bosses. So even if we had traded one of those humanities for a Ring of Sacrifice in order to keep our souls through the scripted Seath death, we would still be at 30, and that alone would be enough to activate the Daughter of Chaos shortcut. But let's say you forgot to pick up somewhere, you lost something somewhere, you are a little bit short. What do? Well, there's a few ways to get humanity here in Firelink. First way, with Bellowing Dragon Crest Ring equipped, Soul Spear into Petrus will instantly kill him. And that's an easy 2 humanity right there. But let's say you forgot a lot of drops and you need more. Well, the next thing to do is to come right over here to Trusty Patches. and you can purchase several humanity from him. I think he has 3 normal and 1 double, so that's a total of 5 right there. And you can also buy Mask of the Child if you want some extra stamina regen, but who would want to give up this stylish big hat? Now, let's say that's still not enough. Well, then single Crystal Soul Spear into him. Didn't even need the Soul Mass. And that is another 4 humanity. All told, we get something like 42 humanity here? Yeah, that's 42 humanity. That's 12 more than we need. So as you can see, it's not really that big of an issue. There's plenty of humanity there for us. Oh yeah, and the Soul Masses will fire at the Raven there. So yeah, we got more than enough humanity. There's a lot of extra here for if you miss a pickup or two, it's fine. If you bone out of a boss a little early and miss the humanity pickup or whatever, not even an issue. So we're gonna equip Slumbering Dragon Crest Ring and Ring of Fog. Doing Blighttown Drop It In, so we run off to the left there so we don't take any fall damage. So we're at full health for this. And with these stealth rings, these guys don't even notice us until we're already pretty much past them. But yeah, we just run right on past them, run right past him. Yeah, it doesn't even notice us until it's we're already past. And just like before, we're gonna line up, we're gonna run right parallel to this, right off this beam here. Jogged right like that. You don't sprint, don't walk, jog, and you'll land right there. You practice that for like 5 minutes, it's perfectly consistent and super easy. Hang out in this corner until we have a platform. This guy always gets stuck on this wall and you're safe in that corner, at least until the mosquitoes come down, but you've got some time for that. And normally we would be popping our humanity as we're riding down the water wheel, which has the dual effect of helping us to heal from the fall damage we took from Blighttown drop, and it's just quicker to do things like pop humanity as you're on elevators. But we'll just speed through this. Especially with Ring of Fog and Slumbering Dragon Crest, there's no real danger here. This is just gonna run through, blah, blah, blah. Just run through here. Depot Sprint. Heal up to full health so we can survive this drop. And here we are. Go ahead and sit at this bonfire so that we can heal our poison and stop hearing that noise. Go ahead and put some points into Endurance. And we join the Covenant here. And donate 30 humanity, and that will allow us to bypass the Demon Fire Sage and Centipede Demon boss fights. Now, if you're doing all bosses, you would just go ahead and do those boss fights. You wouldn't worry about this Covenant. You can just feed the humanity to Fram for extra souls, or not even bother with it, or whatever. But yeah, you see we have... That's the important thing to show, right there. That's the thing you check before you move on. Right here, you want to look at Covenant. Chaos Servant +2. That Chaos Servant +2 is the important part. That's the rank that allows us to open the shortcut. Except no less. But you can see we have 12 extra humanity, so there's plenty of extra humanity in this run if you forget 1 or 2. Not even an issue. So we're going to run through here. You can grab that bonfire if you want. No real reason to, though. And you want to drop right about where this fork, right about here. And we should swap to the damage rings, the Bellowing Dragon Crest and Red Tearstone. Go ahead and cast Homing Crystal Soul Mass. And you could just run past this guy, but it's more fun to kill him. We line ourselves up so that the soul masses are accurate. Down around the corner here. And drop down right on this slope here, and that is a Red Tearstone setup if you want it. We don't really have much use for it though, so we're going to go ahead and sit at this bonfire. You especially want to grab this bonfire if you are doing Bed of Chaos with no firebombs. If you're not doing the firebomb strat, you definitely want to grab that bonfire. Because you want something closer. So we're just gonna go ahead and pew these guys. You could also do a run through, but I've lost runs to dropped inputs in this section before, so I just kill everything now. And bait this guy forward. When he's about the bottom of the hill, I'll free aim a shot into him. Locking onto him, the hitboxes are weird. A lot of times locked on shots will miss when he's down the stairs from you, so it's easier to free aim. You can also just run past him if you're comfortable with that, or there's a bow strat where you lure him off the edge, but just run straight past these guys and turn right here. And then it's a run down a long empty hallway. Okay, and now we have the most infamous Titanite demon in the game. Perhaps the most infamous non-boss enemy in the game. This guy is tricky. We're gonna break those branches that are right behind him. We're going to hit him in the tail in order to turn him around. And then we're going to run around the opposite direction which he turns. So I could just aim and hit him in the body. So he turned that way, so we run around to his back. And right around like that. Easy. So, it's worth spending a moment to show a few instances of that. Dial up, let's see. 107. There we go. And I think here I just use punches to turn him around. That's kind of the easier way to do it, but depends on how much of a purist you're being about the sorcery only thing. And it's better to turn him counterclockwise than clockwise. So if you want to turn him counterclockwise, you want to hit him on this side of the tail. If you want to turn him clockwise, you want to hit him on this side of the tail. And you can see I aim more like this. He's less likely to do the back hop, I think, if you hit him here. So turn him around. And then, okay, if you see him gearing up this attack, it's mainly a swing forward, but this tail also has a hitbox, so you need to watch and dodge with the right timing, like right then. I'll show that timing again, because that's something that, that's probably one of the most dangerous things he can do here, and you need to watch for it. So walk, and you see him doing it, roll. That tail will whack you. And then you keep an eye behind you to see that if he's throwing lightning into your back. You can just do on audio cues too, just listen for it, which is what I usually do, but it's a little safer if you watch instead. But I'll usually just listen and kind of strafe to the side if I hear him throw a lightning bolt. You can hear him charging it up for a mile away, so as long as you're listening, it's fine, but if you prefer, you can just look behind you as well. I'm gonna show a few run past him because it's worth showing it, like the various things he can do and how dangerous this boy can be. We kind of Mario stomp on his tail. And that's something you need to dodge right there, that jump. So this guy is a guy worth practicing. We kind of do something screwy. We're in a weird position here. I shouldn't have moved up here. I should have stayed back by his tail, but I was kind of confused by that whole Mario stomp we got on him. So he's gonna do the jump, and this is just about knowing the timing of the attack. All that is knowing the timing of that attack. And that's just something you have to learn with practice. So, whoop, and dodge. Boom. But that's just experience with the game. That's just a timing you need to learn. And yada yada yada. No lightning. I don't think he gives me lightning a single time here. We did like 5 or 6 run past and didn't get lightning once. Alright. And rotate him. Run past. And this is the other dangerous thing he can do. We'll hop back there. So when he hops back, he's kind of lined up to do a swing at you. And once again, just sprint and, like, know the timings of his attacks. Be able to read his attacks and know their timings. And wait, and I see him gearing up for that. And so dodge right there. I probably would have been tagged by the very end of that hitbox if I hadn't rolled there. Not positive, but probably. So that's just a guy, this is something that's more worth practicing than a lot of bosses. And most bosses in this run, actually. So if you're going to make some save files, make a save file for that boy right there. But that is it for the Titanite Demon. Just a few things to watch out for and be careful for, but yeah, you can... I'm not looking at him here, I'm just listening for the audio cue. And then right here, you can pew-pew these guys if you want, or you can just run past. The thing you have to be careful of is make sure to run over here and get onto this branch, instead of trying to run straight here and getting caught on the lip there. That can be a little tricky, and if you get stuck and you're not able to move fast, you can be in trouble really quick. So right here, we're going to go ahead and cast Homing Crystal Soul Mass. You could also equip the Stealth Rings and just sneak past her, but what fun is that? And we are headed into the Bed of Chaos boss fight. And so I'm going to show you a few different ways to kill her. First, the 100% no cheese, absolutely legit, pure sorcery strat. So we drop in, we're going to run to the right. This strategy combines the advantages of being both slow and very dangerous, but it's fun. So kind of get over here to the side. As soon as the arms calm down, you want to just make a sprint straight in here. As long as you run straight in, you'll be safe. Roll past all the little branches and go ahead and slap a soul spear into that first branch. Walk up to here, wait until the hand slap, and then we want to run along here right and get right behind this tree. And kind of roll into place right behind there. We're going to wait for a hand swipe, and then we go. Don't even worry about the fire claws here. They won't hit you as long as you run these lines. Get past those collapsing floors and get to the outside of the arena. And run along the outside of the arena. And we're going to stand right here and wait for a fire claw to come out at us. Once the fire claws come, we're going to make a jump. We're going to run, we're going to line up right like this, right to this corner, to that corner. Right, like that, jump. And we actually get a lot of distance. We almost got too much. I don't think it's possible to get too much. I don't think it's possible to roll into that other pit, but came dang close. But yeah, run. And you can see I'm pressing jump. We're like on... This is almost frame perfect. We're like in... My character's in midair. We're like on the last little edge of this when we get this jump. But being that frame perfect isn't necessary. You can see I actually kind of almost overshoot the jump there. You could hit it earlier. We hit it on like last frame, but with practice that's very consistent as long as you keep control of your nerves. And it's so much fun too. It's so dramatic. And as soon as you land, stand still. Don't move directly towards here. Don't move anywhere. Do not touch the left stick at all. Stand still till you see that hand slap. Then you can go. You want to roll in here, break this, and now immediately homeward bone out. Don't try and make the trip back, because at this point, the Bed of Chaos can do the Firestorm. And if the Bed of Chaos does the Firestorm while you're on your way back, it's pure luck whether you get hit or not. So the safe thing to do is to bone back after you've broken that second branch. So, I mean, same thing as before, yada yada, pew pew pew. Bait this guy forward. Pew pew. And run on through all this. And run up here. And one more time getting past this guy. This guy is also what makes this strategy so much longer and such a pain in the ass, but it's fun. And he did kind of a delayed swing there, which isn't even a risk. So yeah, the only danger here is to make sure you get onto this branch proper. And the Pyromancer here is already dead. She does not respawn. So, we're going to have our Green Blossom ready. The extra stamina boost will help us. If you bought Mask of the Child from Patches, this is a good time to use that as well. But we're going to head in here and we're going to wait for Firestorm. We're going to go to this corner back here. We're going to wait for Firestorm. When Firestorm comes out, we're going to come out to the center area to open ground. Watch for the fire pillars and kind of step around them until they dissipate. Then we run into this corner. We wait for some hand swipes. As soon as the hand swipes pass, we run into the core. That is the strategy, and I think, yep, okay, so you can tell what attack Bed of Chaos is doing based on what this Firebird does. If she closes her arms in front of her and then flies forward, that's the, like, flame in front here. If she kind of just slashes with, the claws don't have too much of a tell with the Firebird, they just kind of come down. And this whole, like, flying up and back and then coming forward and down, that's the Firestorm right there. And so, yeah, we watch the ground. We kind of quickly sprint to open ground. We watch the ground and we step around the Firestorm. Boop, 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 boo, like that. And I could eat a Blossom there. I kind of delayed it. But walk to here, eat the Blossom, wait for the hands. As soon as the hands pass, make a sprint straight for here. Your timing for the sprint in needs to be somewhat solid. Watch out, right here, she just does the one-hand swing. If she does the double sweep, watch out, because the way the dreads move across here, they can push you off the edge. So just kind of watch out for that. And we're going to, as quickly as we can, roll through all this. This is where the extra stamina regen from the Green Blossom really helps us out. Break through all that, step back a little bit, lock on, and pew pew. So, let's say you don't think that's fun. Let's say you aren't as much of a purist as I was with this run. Let's say you want to make things a little bit easier for yourself. I've got a couple strategies for you. Don't worry, I've got you covered here. So, we've got firebombs and bow equipped. And we're going to head on in. All we need is 2 firebombs. And this is the strategy known as Toki bombs. It's what speedrunners do. It's what the vast majority of hitless runners do. You learn it. It's pretty easy. I'll show you a couple different ways of doing it. So you want to run in, straight in, all the way right to here. Wait for the hand swipes to pass. And then you want to back off a little bit. You want to back off to the point where you got 1 tile, 2 tile, 3 tile, 4 tile, 5 tile, and you want to be right on this line between the 5th and 6th tile. Right up to the 5th tile, right before the 5th tile. You want to be on this line right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the line, and then your toe is right on that starting line. And now you're aiming for 2 points. Aiming for this black mark right here. That black mark right there. That's where you want to throw the first one. And then this black mark right here. That's where you want to throw the second one. You can actually throw them in either order. That black mark right there. And that black mark right there. That's where you want to throw the firebombs. So, get them both lined up. Throw the first one, move your camera around. Don't make sure your camera's not moving when the cutscene starts, because if it is moving while the cutscene starts, it'll keep moving like a little bit more and you'll overshoot and you'll be lined up wrong. Then we quickly zoom in, line up, take just a moment to line up and throw. And don't take too much more time than that. As soon as you throw the second firebomb, roll over to the right. So let's show that again. We line up with that black mark right there. Throw the firebomb. Move our camera a little bit. Line up with the second black mark. You have some time, but you need to be relatively smooth and efficient, and then roll to the right into this corner here. And then we're gonna hang out in this corner. When you see, when you see Bed of Chaos, when you see the Firebird cross her arms in front of her and then come forward like that, that's just the fire here Make sure you're not too far back. Make sure you're kind of nestled up right in here. And you'll be safe. And we just wait for the firestorm. And when the firestorm happens, you don't want to move too quickly. If you move quickly, you will get killed, actually. Okay, this is the firestorm. I'm kind of taking my time. I kind of run around a little bit. If you run down here too quickly, then the fire pillars will actually appear on this branch, and they can trap you and kill you here. So you see, I kind of take this when this happens. I'm kind of casual. I make sure that I'm recognizing it right, and I kind of taking a moment. I might have taken too much of a moment there. I could have probably moved a little faster and been fine, but yeah, when you see it coming, you kind of just take it a bit more casual. I'm not sprinting, I'm just jogging. People get really, like, fired up and immediately sprint down there, and then they end up getting trapped and killed. You want to kind of take that easy at about the pace I did. Maybe slightly faster, but yeah. And then roll in, and it's actually better if you save a little bit of stamina so you can roll in and do the R1 out of the roll. That's a little quicker. But that's easy enough. And we'll show another one here. We'll show it doing it in the opposite order. Since we normally with other strats kill the right side first and then the left side, if you do it in the same order with the Toki bombs, that will allow you so that if you miss your second shot, you're not screwed. Making sure we know where we're throwing. You kind of identify both points, and if you're doing speed runs, you already know this. You don't need to spend this much time lining things up, but this isn't something I do all the time, so I'm just kind of making sure I know what I'm doing. So we throw at the right one first. And you see that example of the camera moving a little bit. I was moving my camera at the beginning of the cut, when the cutscene started, so the camera kept panning. So I had to take some extra time to... Yep. So I had to take some extra time to readjust my camera. But yep, throw there. And if I had missed that throw, I could bone out or whatever and just kind of do either the jump strat or another bow strat I'm going to show you guys after this. But yep, there's the firestorm again. You see I'm a bit casual. Like, too casual, actually. That extra little, like, spin move, not needed. Perhaps a little too casual. Right here, I could have just gone instead of doing that little extra spin move, but whatever. And we roll through here. Roll and punch. And let's say you don't like the firebomb strat, or you, for whatever reason, and you want something that's kind of in between as far as something that's maybe a little easier, not as quick though. Well, I've got another strat for you. Got a bow strat for you here. And you are shooting the branches with a bow, but you're technically not dealing any damage to anything, so I'm pretty sure this still qualifies as sorcery only. It's nothing I've ever done on a run, but I mean, I've used this strat before just in casual play, and it's pretty easy. So run over here to this side as normal. And actually, we go in on this first one because doing the bow strats on this one is awkward, but same as before, you wait here. As soon as the hand slap goes, you go. Get behind this tree, we're gonna wait for another hand swipe. As long as we're in this position, we're safe from everything. And we're gonna run along here, get our bow ready. And this could also be a backup if you miss the second firebomb throw. If you're doing the right to left and you miss the second firebomb throw, this can be your backup strat instead of the jump. Instead of the jump, you can just do this. I'm aiming a little too high. As long as you're back here, you're safe. Yeah, a little lower there. And this arrow should do it. There we go. Now, after you destroy that, you should homeward bone back. This is why it's not safe. You see, I don't have a lot of room, and if I had gotten a little bit worse luck, I would have been cooked there. But yeah, this is the same as the first way I showed. We're kind of moving up here. And since we just got Firestorm, we don't have to wait for another one. We're just going to run straight in. And yeah, same as before, we roll through all this nonsense. Punch. And so yeah, that's a few different ways you can kill Bed of Chaos. I mean, for ease and speed, I would recommend the Toki Bomb strat, but if you want to be a purist like me, you can do the jumps as well. You got options. You got plenty of options. And so now, we are... Oh yeah, one thing I want to show for the Gwyn fight, you don't have to change any of your attunements, but what I like to do is I'll swap out Crystal Soul Spear for Homing Soul Mass. It's sort of a just-in-case thing, and I'll kind of show you why here in the Gwyn fight, but 5 Homing Crystal Soul Masses is... I've never had that not be enough. There's a couple times where it's been close, but it's always been enough. And here we are. Offer the souls up. Oh yeah, final levels. We'll go ahead and get a little bit of extra endurance. Doesn't really matter that much, but why the heck not? Offer the souls to the Lord Vessel. And go ahead and slap on the Symbol of Avarice. And we start our run. We slap on Symbol of Avarice here, and then by the time we reach Gwyn, we will have a red tear stone set up, and then we take it off as we pass through the fog gate. We run down here. Now, you could run off to the right side here and avoid this guy entirely. But what I like to do is run right onto this pillar here, draw out an attack, and as soon as he starts his stab, jump over his head. I just think that's fun. This second guy, I like to give a lot of space to. I kind of run this line right here, kind of run away from him a bit. Pretty much that way you'll space every single attack he can do. You might have to roll the delayed thrust or something, but that's pretty easy to see and predict. But if you run it like that, for the most part, you can just space anything he does. So for this third guy, if you're really cool, you can just strafe past him entirely, but we're going to run like to the middle. He does the quick swing, we want to roll. But right like that, I've seen a lot of people do more tedious strats with him, but just kind of run up to the middle. And if you run the perfect line, you don't need to roll there. I didn't run the perfect line, and so I would have gotten caught in the ankle if I didn't roll like that, but very easy to get past him. If he does the delayed swing, it's no risk at all. This guy, I like to run past him shield side right next to here, because anything he does will whiff, and half the time he'll end up throwing himself off the edge. Halberd guy, I did not need to dodge there, but running past Halberd guy shield side, any attack he does will whiff, unless he does that spinning horizontal slash. That one you often have to dodge, but you just learn the timings, you practice this. It's easy. As we pass through the fog gate, actually you can see right here we have red tear stone. As soon as we pass through the fog gate, we will take off the Symbol of Avarice. You can just take it straight off, but I like to wear the big hat. As soon as you get through the fog gate, you want to roll there, just so you don't get stabbed in the back by any Black Knight who might be chasing you. As soon as we get into the fight, cast Homing Soul Mass, move in a bit, lock on, dodge back from his first attack to keep our lineup. So, let me explain what happened there. Why did Gwyn side hop like that, you might ask? Well, it's because Gwyn is a dirty, cheating input reader. That's what Gwyn is. So, what happens is, if he's somewhat close to us, and we start casting any spell, he will read that input, and he will hop to the side in an attempt to dodge. And if I cast like a Soul Spear there, he would have dodged it easily. But what that does is it makes it safe. As long as he's in a neutral stance, it makes us safe for us to recast Homing Crystal Soul Mass. And because the cast animation is separate from the discharge animation, he gets caught by it every time. And we got some pretty good hits there. The accuracy of Homing Crystal Soul Mass can vary. We got 2 full hits there, and 2 full hits is enough to kill him. And let's take a look at our final time. I believe it was somewhere around 142. 141.37. So, not the fastest, but if I had done Toki bombs in this run instead of the kind of more straight up Bed of Chaos fight, that would have saved me probably 4 or 5 minutes alone, and then with some other efficiencies, this route can easily be 135, which isn't the fastest Dark Souls 1 ever, but that's faster than most people's any percent runs in Dark Souls 1. DS1 is nice, it's the only game where Sorcery can actually compete for speed. But let's show a few more Gwyn fights. Let's show what that fight is about. Here. Wait, what's going on? There we go. Okay, so gonna kind of show off with less damage what this fight is like when it gets extended. So roll in, cast. I actually got a little too far forward, so he did a side hop there. You want to cast before that. Dodge back. Now we dodge back and not forward or to the side because we want to maintain a good lineup. If you dodge to the side, that can kind of mess with your lineups. And yep, as long as we cast while he's in neutral stance, he'll side hop like that. Dodge back. That was actually a little close, but it was fine. And I'm mainly trying to trigger the jumping slashes because it takes him extra time to recover. And I'll show you one more fight like that. But you kind of practice like this with without Red Tearstone and with the Sorcerer's Staff instead of Tin Crystallization. That'll give you some good practice for if you start getting some shots missing. And if a lot of them miss, that's why I have the Homing Soul Mass on the second slot. I've never had to use it in an actual run, but it's nice to have for safety purposes. You can see I'm dodging backwards every time in order to maintain lineup. But yeah, it's safe to cast because he'll never punish me for casting that because he's always trying to read my inputs. Okay, that thrust, I'm going to show you with that thrust, it's actually pretty dangerous. That one you might want to dodge to the side. I shouldn't have gone forward there. I should have kept the distance. You always want to try and be triggering those jumping slashes when you can. Like right here, I move forward. I should have kept moving back and tried to bait out a jumping slash. But my timing was really good. If my timing had been any worse, I would have probably gotten tagged by that stab. But yeah, you can see 7 casts, and we kept him in that loop. It's kind of a matter of rhythm. I want to watch that fight one more time. Kind of move in and dodge back. You want to delay that so that time it with the slash. And yeah, we kind of keep him in this rhythm of him trying to input, read, and dodge. And here's the one mistake. I move forward here. If my timing had been any worse on that dodge, I would have gotten caught because that has a bit of a lingering hitbox. And a bit of reach. Yeah, if you see that stab coming, you might want to dodge to the side. Your soul masses are likely to miss, but it's not a big deal. But yeah, our final time on our main run there was 141.37. And so that will conclude it. I'll make another video soon about an all bosses run for Hitless Sorcery only. it mostly, the all bosses run mostly works off of the any percent. There's only a couple things you do differently during the any percent to set up going to the DLC and a couple other things, but for the most part, they're pretty similar. So I'll kind of be making a supplemental that just adds onto this for the all bosses run. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments below, or feel free to join my Discord or hop into my stream. I stream semi-regularly, and I'm always happy to see new people. Thank you for everything. Have a wonderful day.